Hi, people. I'm Esai Morales, more or less, but I'm here with Vicki Abelson, you know, the game changer extraordinaire, and we're live.
Esai more or less. I'm kind of like.
Esai.
All right.
I say Esai.
I'm a gringo.
Let's call the whole thing up.
I have said your name 5 different ways. I've said Esai, Esai, Esai. It's Esai.
Ezekiel. I mean, I get everything. Isaiah.
This is okay. Now,
Islos Morales.
Your parents gave you this name, and I'm imagining starting in school you had problems with the name.
Listen. You're an Abelson. You should understand a nice Jewish name when you hear one.
They call me Abelson.
Abelson. Sí. In Espanol you would be Abelson. No, but my name comes from the Bible, the Biblia, which is a derivative of Esau or Isaiah, or I don't know.
But Isaiah I can say correctly.
My grandfather named my father Esai, but nobody called him Esai. They just called him Iti. That's I know.
Spelled how?
I don't know. Tio Iti, the uncle Iti.
Okay.
For some reason, Iti instead of Esai. And then I was Manny for many years because
Manny.
I'm Esai Manuel because my grandfather, who I never met, was Manuel Morales, and I am Esai Manuel Morales.
You don't look like a Manny, though.
You know, it's so funny, I know, but to my mom, I'm sure I did for many years.
Aww.
Bless her soul. She's in Puerto Rico right now. She's dealing with Alzheimer's, which is not a fun or sexy subject to talk about, but you'd be surprised how many people are dealing with it and will be dealing with it.
My father passed from Alzheimer's. My mother-in-law passed from Alzheimer's. I have a friend who's going through it right now.
It's devastating.
And so, does your mother know who you are?
Yes, but she's at that point where, I remember, I visited her 3 times since Thanksgiving, and I'll just, lie next to her in her little bed and caress her hair. And I'm like, Mom, do you know who I am? Mom. And she's like, sí, mi marido, my husband. And I'm like, that's okay, Mom. When I was 5 years old, I promised my mom, I said, don't worry, Mom, I'll marry you, because she was heartbroken over, a breakup. And I remember being 5 years old and wanting to console her, and it brought me to tears, of course, But we're here to talk about all kinds of things, not just depressing things.
So I'm going to tell you my little story.
But who doesn't love their mother who had a good mother?
Well, but I really love that you kind of became the role that you promised her you'd be. You sort of became that. When the last time I saw my father conscious, I came in and I spoke to my father every day on the telephone for the whole 6 years he was diagnosed.
Wow.
Every single day I talked to him. He was not here. He was in Vegas. And so the last time I saw him, I walked up to him and he said, you are so beautiful, and I know you're in my family, but I'm not quite sure. And I felt my heart just go, wah! And I had just spoken to him the day before, but then within 5 minutes of talking to him, he went, Vic, so, but it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
You want to know what heartbreaking is trying not to cry as you beg your mother not to forgive you.
I'm going to send you a video when the show's over. I took a video of my dad and I singing together that day. And we sing Hey You're Adorable, which is the song we sang on stage when I was 4 years old with him. He was a singer in the Catskills. And he remembered, I forgot word. He remembered every lyric.
Music has a special relationship with the brain where actually you use like all your senses or something. I heard that music is one thing that engages the most parts of your brain.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's why they use a lot of music therapy with people to connect them to their past.
Wow. And that was it. Like, he remembered everything. And then I spent I can't believe we're talking about this. I spent the last 4 days of his life with him. He was in a coma. And I walked up to him and I said, Dad, and his eyes went like this. And the nurse said, oh, he can't hear you. Fuck you, he can't hear me. And I played Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett and all of that stuff for him, and he would move.
Of course.
It was
he was letting you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother, the greatest thing that, despite the pain, she was like, you really do love me. And that's...
Oh. How long ago did she get diagnosed?
A few years ago, but it's like she was always saying it for a while. It's been over 10 years. She's like, oh, I forgot where I've got Alzheimer's. I've got Alzheimer's. I'm like, Mom, smoke pot. It's a cooler excuse. Mom, don't say you have Alzheimer's because you're going to manifest
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, but, there's people who didn't say it and they still got it. So,
yeah.
So yeah, that's, I'm at that age. Hey, we're at a bright young age. We're just coming into our adulthood now, right? Right?
So all right, so let's talk about. I'm older than you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am by year. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But but what I love is that I think we were in the same place at the same time. I'm going to show this for anybody.
Some folks.
For anybody there, it's on my Facebook page. But so Esai was with David Bowie. At the China Club in 1980, what did we say? 1988, and I was there pretty much every night then, and could very well, but I was so high that so let's talk about that a minute. So I haven't read anything about you being an addict or an abuser, but you play one on TV very well. Yeah. No. So were drugs and alcohol not an issue for you?
Drugs and alcohol. I mean, I've been a dabbler. I've dabbled with almost everything out there, just to know, just to not take everyone else's word for it. Because, as a kid, you're told these horrible stories, these, and I saw that short film about acid. The kid that took acid and their face melted off, and I'm like, oh no!
How about Reefer Madness? Did they show you Reefer
Madness? Oh my God!
It
was just horrible. You would think. And then when your reality sets in, you're like, nah, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I think I've been bamboozled is the least of it. And then you realize, oh, this isn't so bad. And then you got to be careful, because...
So are there not addicts and alcoholics in your family?
Oh, yeah.
There are?
Yes, I have a half sibling, because that's all I have, halves. I'm the only one of my mother and father. And then each of them had their own children. But I have a sister who's been battling for many, many years, and it's very painful. I don't want to divulge too much, but I didn't know that she was so gangster until like many years later when she was in a hospital bed. They called me saying, say goodbye to your sister. She's getting ready to go. This is over 10 years ago.
Oh my!
She was at St. Vincent's in New York.
Oh wow!
St. Vincent's, and she had a blood infection, and they said if it got to her heart, it was over.
Was this alcohol or drugs? Everything. Yeah.
And, bad relationship, they get into that. And, and I find out later, she's quite the criminal record. And like robbery with guns and things. I'm like, my little sister, oh my God.
So she's living the characters that you've played in about 50 movies.
Yeah, well, no, there's many movies, but yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, I had no idea.
Wow.
And you're like, whoa. And that's the thing about family. They will surprise you. As much as you might think you know them.
Wow.
But here's the key. I got her on the phone. I said, hang in there. Do not give up hope. Fight. I'm going to be there in a few days because I had to fly. And my cousin and I went to visit her. And I saw her in the hospital. Bag of bones. I'm so sorry. Very sick. And I look at the window and I won't name the company, but there's a fast food bag on her window. Somebody thought it was a great idea to get her like a burger and fries and milkshake and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. I knew about health then. And I said, no, get that out of here. You're eating this stuff? Hospital food already as it is. It's like, how does this make sense?
It absolutely
how
makes
does
no
it
sense.
Make sense?
It's all chemicals. Like Jell-O?
You might as well go to an
food?
airline. You might as well be in the air. You understand that it's just for money. I mean, it's ridiculous. So money, in other words, food in in an institution, they buy with bulk.
Right.
So they're going to get the cheapest
of course
things because any little 5 cents more becomes thousands or $10,000 more in the aggregate.
Right.
So I ran downstairs and I found a place that had organic, like fresh squeezed juices. So I got her 3 juices.
Were you a vegetarian then? I know you are now.
No, and I'm not even. I'm a flexitarian. I'm the worst vegetarian.
Wait, what is a flexitarian?
Oh, negative. Well, because when I feel my body getting kind of clogged up and you feel like your systems are not really
Yeah.
I lay off the heavy animal products and the heavy processed foods, and I just go plant-based for a while, and things just clear.
But you will eat a good.
I can't help
a good steak. Okay. All right, because I'm thinking you're a little too perfect for words.
Oh,
I mean, it was a little too annoying.
I'm 20 minutes to stop that.
It was
so let me tell you what happened.
Annoying.
Just to for the people with this incredible story.
Okay, so you go down and you get
go
her.
downstairs, I get a thing of apple juice, fresh squeezed apple, carrot juice, and one other, I think fresh squeezed orange juice.
Yeah.
But 3 juices. Mm-hmm. And I go upstairs and I make her drink some of one, some of the other. Within half an hour to an hour, we're laughing, joking. She's walking around better. She was no longer the person I met in that very visit.
Oh, come on, stop.
Not kidding you. Her spirits lifted up. She was cracking jokes within minutes.
Are you kidding? Come on.
I'm not. And guess what? She's still alive today, still
It's
battling
all from the juice.
her addictions. It's called, if you give the body what it needs, it will thrive. But we're not taught this information.
This is very true.
Because
all right, so give us.
I don't want to give.
All right, so give us the little speech on the vaccines, because I watched a whole show of you talking about it today, and I know you're very anti-vaccine.
No.
Okay,
Okay, I'm not anti-vaccine, although that's a nice label.
Okay, wait, I know what it is. Wait, let me correct myself. You're anti it being demanded. Mandatory. Thank
yes.
you. Okay.
Listen, if there's a risk, there must be a choice. How can the government make you take things that have actually been shown to kill people?
Yeah.
Kill people. I mean, recently it just came out that the Gardasil vaccine, which they're pushing onto little boys now.
Wait, what is that one?
Gardasil against HPV.
Right, okay.
Papillomavirus.
Yeah, my kids took it.
Because a very small percentage of them may develop ovarian cancer.
Right.
But that's a small percentage. And of those, I mean, most of the people that have HPV clear it. Most of these things
is that true?
are cleared. This whole measles thing, come on. When we were growing up, measles was fun. It was like, you didn't have to go to school. You got the dots for a week and you were immune for life. And now they tell you that having had measles helps prevent cancers.
Is that true?
Oh, yes. Look it up. Certain
Wow.
viruses.
I have measles.
Yes. And it helps prevent certain cancers. You can, all this stuff is being found out. But what we have is a system where somebody figured out that we would pay dearly for our health. And if you're dying, there's no amount of money that you would not exchange for another day or two or a week or a month or a year. Or even more so for a family member that you love.
Okay, so your daughter's in school.
Yes.
Does she not have to be vaccinated? What happens?
Well, I'd like to keep her specific status hers, because I don't want to bring issues, but I will tell you one thing right now.
Okay.
Did not get them all, and if I were to, I would never get them 8 in one day or 6 in one. That is the most, it's really aggressive.
A lethal cocktail.
It's just, look, not everybody. They'll tell you, well, if that were true, everybody would be dying. No, not everybody dies of the same things. You know, the drug that killed all these people, Vioxx? Millions of people took it and they didn't die. But thousands did. So because it helped millions, it's okay. It's okay the downs and the die. No, you don't give it out if it can cause a risk. And unfortunately, what we have today is not what we had when we were growing up. I had 3 at most, and I'm still alive. We have a lot of mis and disinformation in our society. So people who have been educated, so they think, are fighting with other people who have been educated, so they think. And they're not both wrong. They're both right in their heads. But one side has been misinformed more than the other. And that's all I'll have to say.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Because I'll never tell you not to do what you think is best for your kid.
Well, I really like that a lot.
Yeah. But do not tell me I have to do what government and industry decide today is best for my child. Because guess what? In a year or 2 from now, when the studies come out, when the truth finally comes out, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. How many times I remember growing up, milk was good, then it wasn't good, then it was good again. Eggs were good, right? Then they weren't good, then they were good again. It's like, wait a minute. Parents have the most interest. Okay, doctors see thousands of people. Parents have their children's interests specifically at heart. And I know many parents who are much more versed on vaccines and the ingredients and their interactions than many doctors.
Wow.
Okay, but people, well, you're not a doctor. No, but I have a daughter. And I've been studying this for 9 years. And I know my friends that have gotten their vaccines and those that haven't. And I can tell certain patterns. And all I have to say is, thank God there are great medicines and drugs that have, that are saving lives. I just saw something yesterday on like Australian 60 Minutes of this drug that stopped this person with like this who had a stroke. All of a sudden, she was better. Oh my God. And it was miraculous.
Wow.
I thank God for those types of medications. Right. And I don't believe that all medicine, is bad and all pharma people are bad. No, there are good people. But unfortunately, people get used to their lifestyle.
I love what you're saying about giving your sister the juice and right away you saw the benefit.
Like,
I mean, that's craziness.
It was
right
insane.
there.
Now, that doesn't happen to everybody all the time. But I told my cousin, did you see this?
That's crazy.
You saw how she came. She was in pain. And within half an hour after ingesting these juices, it happened slowly. By an hour and a half later when we left, she's like, talking. And I'm like, oh, come on. You're not going anywhere. And sure enough, she did not die.
So having that evidence, does that not inspire you to... so how do you eat the steak? So knowing this, how do we still eat the steak and the Cheetos?
Well, here's the thing. No one thing will do you in right away unless you have a specific anaphylactic allergy response. But I'm a big junk food junkie. Okay?
I'm known for Cheetos.
I've cheated with Cheetos. I used to eat Cheetos all the time. Not the flaming hot ones.
No, I like the puffs. I'm a puff person.
Oh, yeah. You're puff piece.
I'm a puff piece.
No, but here's the thing.
I'm looking who's talking to you.
I found out that hi from Boyle Heights.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Look, so we have to do this because all these people always. Hi, David Laurel. Hi, John. All right, wait.
Oh my God, nice people.
Mitch. Okay,
that's my boy, Mitch Weissman. Beatles forever.
You have to tell Mitch said I have to ask you how you guys met. That it's a dark story. Do you remember the story? How you met?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. I met Mitch Weissman, the penultimate other Paul.
I call him the real fake Paul.
The real Paul McCartney.
Paul.
He was in the show that I'd seen him perform in Beatlemania. My 15th birthday, somebody bought me a ticket to see Beatlemania, and I go by myself downtown to the Winter Garden Theater, and I watched Beatlemania, and I'm at the throes of my own Beatlemania.
Right.
Fool on the Hill was this For No One. So many beautiful songs we just. Like the soundtrack of my life and my heart. And I'm watching the closest thing I could watch to the Beatles. Oh my God. And then of course the day that will live in infamy for me, December 8th, when John Lennon was shot, and I just
I have goosebumps as soon as you said it.
I still have an emotional connection. I don't want to get verklempt out here, but I will probably. John Lennon was like a spiritual father to me without being there, because I'm kind of an only child and estranged from my father and whatnot. And John Lennon and Paul and the Beatles, but John specifically, his activism, his
We're going to talk about that.
But just this feeling, this empathy, his ultimate Libra-ness,
yes, he was and you're a Libra, I know, October 1st.
8 days apart. Yeah, he was born the 9th, number 9. And I had to go. I had to go to where he lived, and it's like what every Beatle fan. The only thing we could do is come together, literally.
Oy vey! I've never heard it used like that before. That night, you met Mitch that night?
He was in front of the
Dakota. Okay, that's so... I was working at Maxwell's Plum across the park when I found out. And, we crossed the park. Jaleel and I crossed the park. My friend Jaleel, who worked with me, had a tea house that George and John and Paul used to go to on the Upper East Side. And we cried together, and then we walked across the park. I didn't meet you that night. Although I have to say, for everybody out there who's watching us have this very casual conversation, I'm having a really hard time looking at this man. I did not book him for that. I did not. Although I have to tell you a really funny story.
Why? Because I'm tearing up?
No, are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. I haven't told you this. This is crazy.
Uh-oh.
So about 4 years ago.
This in front of people?
I'm saying this in front of people. So about 4 years ago, I get on Tinder. Okay.
You on Tinder?
It's so pathetic. I have a partner now. I have a significant other.
I can imagine.
I didn't meet him on Tinder, but I was on Tinder for 4 years. I've been single for 8 years. It's been really bad. Okay, but anyway.
That was justifiable.
Oh my God. Okay, so I get on Tinder. I swear this is true. My first month on Tinder, I match with Esai Morales.
What do you mean?
Okay.
I wasn't on Tinder.
A guy took your pictures, had a fake profile. I see it. I'm like, hell yeah, swipe right. I never swipe right. Hell yeah, swipe right. And it goes, it's a match. And I'm like, no, stop it. And we're having a conversation. I'm like, no, stop it. So now I don't really believe that it's really you. So I know it can't really be you. So I go on Facebook and I friend you on Facebook and we start having this other real conversation. And I know that it's not. And then the guy disappears and I know that it's bullshit. But yes, for one brief shining moment, you were mine.
Well, here we are, finally together at last. At last.
I'm trying to get Esai to sing and dance for us. We'll see what happens by the end of the show.
But Tinder. One thing I have to say about the Tinder real quick, then I'll get back to...
Oh, see, you did it. The Tinder. Facebook, the Tinder.
My friend, yes. You're smoking the pot. You're the hip person. This thing. If this is all you have to do to get love, then I'm like, I can't do it. Because I feel like there's something to earning but if everybody's there, it's the marketplace.
No, but this is the thing. One can do it. I did it. There was no love to be found there because ultimately, always for me, it was about meeting somebody in real life. You see somebody across the crowd, right? It's all of that, right? But it wasn't happening because LA, everybody's a little too cool for the room. So it really
is. It's so bad.
So it wasn't happening, and so my therapist kind of dared me to do it because, of course, I have a therapist. I'm Jewish, so I did it. But the goal, your phone's dinging. But the goal was, that's okay. But the goal was always to meet somebody in real life, and ultimately I did. Wow. So that was going on Tinder was just telling the universe I'm available and
I just had a friend though who had a bad Tinder date and he ended up in prison. So
wait, what?
Yeah, he had two. It was the second date, and
what do you mean he ended up in prison?
He was.
Did he do something bad?
Well, she claimed he did, and and he just recently got not guilty on all counts, but kind of ruined his life a bit.
Oh, I'm writing a movie about Tinder with a failed Tinder romantic partner.
It's just it's scary.
It's crazy
because how do you meet people nowadays? It used to be you go to the library, you go to the supermarket,
you could go to Whole Foods,
you go to the park. I like Erewhon and Whole Foods because you're like-minded, healthy people.
Absolutely.
Usually you're in better shape and kind of take care of themselves. This is a healthy place to find love. But then again, there's people that are also focused. Everyone's so focused.
Especially in LA. And we're from New York. New York is...
I'm focused, excuse me. I'm driven.
And everybody's also always in their cars.
Yes.
And we're from New York. In New York, you walk. That's why I moved to this town, because it's a walking town.
It's a beautiful
But okay, so thank you. So you're from Brooklyn?
Yes.
Okay, so what part of Brooklyn?
Believe it or not,
yeah,
I am from Williamsburg.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, Peter Luger's.
Oh, my God.
Talk about a piece of meat.
Oh,
okay.
Great steakhouse.
So Williamsburg was...
Not a person. It's a steakhouse.
All right, sorry.
You
women.
about
Tinder.
You're turning just like men.
He is so much more handsome in person. Okay, I did not book him for that reason. And I have to tell this story before we go into your past and your future and all that.
I like your rocker look.
Thank you. So I won't grow up. My mother is like, do you have to wear every piece of jewelry you've ever owned? Wow. Yes. The answer is yes. So I asked Esai to be my first guest on my first show, and that because when I was changing the name from The Road Taken to Game Changers, I thought, you are a game changer. You are a game changer because you came up at a time when Latino actors were sort of breaking through, and it was a new thing, and that did change the game. Not enough, because as we talked about before we went on the air, I asked Esai if he ever plays just a guy.
Human beings.
Do you ever have to not be the bad guy or the good guy? Do you ever get to be the romantic lead? What's the answer to that?
Sometimes, but it's.
Can you name a show or a picture?
Well, it's so funny. Right now, I'm in the midst of making a film that's called Simone, and the financing comes and goes and all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be shot in Puerto Rico, and I play kind of like this professor who is he finds these notes. Somebody's writing him notes from other writers, quotes, and it's like speaking his language, and he's got writer's block. He's a writer himself, and he's kind of lost, and then he discovers this immigrant Chinese student of his. Mm-hmm. Like,
are they love notes?
They're just they develop an incredibly passionate relationship, but it's based on the work of Simone Weil, the great French writer, erotic writer, kind of his name. And but they have this incredible relationship, and it's like, oh my God, I'm in my 50s. I can't eat anymore. I gotta watch it. Sideways, we turn into the letter D.
Yes,
for Dad.
I know, the promo video has me freaking out.
Stop it. You have beautiful curves. Stop it. You women are too worried about the tiniest little things we don't even notice.
Well, that's because you're Latin.
See the whole
production. But that's because Latin men appreciate a woman with curves.
Oh, come on. No. But that's womanity.
Yeah, but men in L.A., Anglo men in LA do not appreciate a woman with curves. They want a woman that look. Pete, you've been very quiet. We haven't even talked to you yet.
I'm noticing on your phone all the notifications that are coming up for Tinder for you.
Hey, I'm off the app. I am not doing. You just got a lot of love for saying that, by the way. As soon as you said that,
actually, for real though, it's OkCupid though.
It's OkCupid.
Yeah, those are coming up.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm not even on those apps anymore. Oh. Pete, tell me please. Let us know if anybody has a question.
No questions, just comments.
Just comments. Anybody saying anything good?
Mitch Royston said he auditioned for Bad Boy too.
Really?
As well back in the day, yeah.
Patrick Reese.
Well, Mitch, you auditioned. Okay, so I watched a scene from Bad Boys today. I thought La Bamba was when I first knew you. I did know you from Bad Boys, but I didn't know I knew you. Because then you were just a guy in Bad Boys. It was Sean Penn, right? You were just.
I was lifting weights in those days, bro. That's when weights could be lifted, and all of a sudden you had big muscles.
So what was so bad? All right, so let's go back to Brooklyn before we get to Bad Boys. So you're in Brooklyn. You got to go to the High School of Performing Arts, which I did not get into. I failed math; they wouldn't take me. But you got to go to the High School of Performing Arts, which was. For those of you who don't know, that's what Fame, and you were in an episode of Fame also.
Yes.
Oh my God!
I auditioned for the movie and I couldn't get on.
Oh,
I didn't get in, so don't feel bad about not. I couldn't get in the movie as a Latino comedian.
Oh, stop!
Yeah. But you know what? Barry Miller got the part. Hey, and you know what? He was very good. He played his part. I mean, it wasn't Latino, but for those days, it was as Latino as you got. You know, I mean, it's like Al Pacino played the Cubans.
Do you remember? Yeah.
You know, but Scarface, and still people love it.
You were on Broadway with Al, weren't you?
Oh my God! Yeah, Al. I have to tell people about Al Pacino. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you don't want to do too many of these interviews because then you don't have anything to write about in your book. You've said it all. You know,
nobody will remember.
But no, they'll remember you. I like her rocker look. Stevie Nicks meets Hart meets Joan Jett but blonde.
Dave Righetti pitched a no-hitter once, came into Maxwell's Plum where I was working, told me I looked like Stevie Nicks. I went upstairs, I broke my nose. I was...
Why?
I went to look in the mirror and I turned and broke my nose because somebody said I looked like Stevie Nicks. So God knows what could happen to me today.
You never know.
So all right, so tell me Al Pacino.
Oh yeah, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
So I was watching Dog Day Afternoon as a 13 or 12-year-old kid in the theater and just mesmerized by this man, John Cazale, who's just as good, one of the most underrated actors.
Meryl Streep's lover.
Played Fredo in The Godfather. Meryl Streep's right. And what's his name? Severin. The one who played the transgender. Oh my God. Sarensen. Chris Sarensen. Which was he was married
to Susan.
Susan Sarandon.
Right.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Sarandon.
Yes.
But I feel your pain. People screw up my name all the time.
Oh, God.
Anyway, Chris Sarandon, genius. Ned Beatty, I believe, was also...
Unbelievable film.
This cast. The 70s movies, like, unbelievable. And
Did you have to sneak in? It was probably rated R.
In those days, they're like... Right? Kids raise themselves on the street, you know?
We used to go into bars when we were 15.
15? Yes! Studio 54, give me a break. So I pointed to the screen, and the scene where he's in the bank, he's taken the gun out. He's finally crossed the Rubicon. There's no turning back now. And you could see it in his face.
The madness, yes.
And he has this like I'm in it. Like, oh, shite, what do I do now? And this thing with Al's eyes, and it just drags you back in. And I elbowed my friend, and I said, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, stop.
12 years old. I said, that's what I want to be.
Now, had you been in school plays before that?
I had done a school play in like my first grade where I played a Mexican jumping bean. Mind you, I'd never met a Mexican before.
Oh, there's a Hanukkah candle.
There you go. Holla. Anyway.
Oh! Pete, that's a joke like you would tell.
Yes, I'm punny sometimes.
Oh!
Dad humor all day. So I played a Mexican jumping bean. Little did I know I'd be playing Mexicans.
Do you remember what your line was?
I didn't have. I was jumping.
You didn't talk.
No, I didn't have to talk.
Okay.
Then later on, we did theater games at Performing Arts High School, which was amazing. No, before Performing Arts. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. At my school at the time, this troupe from Juilliard, who included an actor who was in the movie Fame, the African-American actor James Moody, who played the acting teacher.
Oh.
Remember he was very intense. He's the acting, balding, hair in the back. You know, he was doing the auditions. Anyway,
Vaguely.
A wonderful actor from Juilliard. And he and some other people told my my drama teacher at the time.
You had a drama teacher.
Miss Rubel.
Okay.
We did plays and everything. I mean, it wasn't official. It wasn't
Right.
Stanislavski. It was, theater games, right?
Yeah.
But he said he should audition for Performing Arts because they had done theater games and, like, Trust, you blindfold somebody, you fall backwards, whatever, your team is there to hold you. One called Airplane, where you get blindfolded and then people lie on the ground and then they tell you yes, no, dependency, like don't step on someone, like,
I don't remember that one. I was a drama
trust,
teacher. I don't remember that one.
It's a trust game.
Okay,
Airplane,
right. I remember the
if
falling
you
one.
step the wrong place, you could crush somebody.
Okay.
And then we did improv.
Oh, and people tell you where to step.
Yeah. No, go left.
Yeah. Okay,
it's like building teamwork.
Yes,
it's trusting each other.
Right.
And then we played like a frying pan, bacon, eggs, and like potatoes, and I played
a mean potato.
Oh, bacon! No, I was like, I was committed. And they saw that, and they saw how I loved it. I was a kid who had a 12th grade reading level in the 6th grade.
Oh, wow.
So once I learned to read, it was just...
Were you a good student? Did you do your homework and stuff?
Put it this way. I'm very, I was that kid who couldn't stay still, bit of a class clown, wanting everybody to like me, wanting everybody happy, and I got in trouble a few times. I used to fight too because, I would protect other kids and I'd get in the middle of
You
things.
were Puerto Rican. You had a fight.
You know what I mean? I actually was the Harriet Tubman of my school.
Oh, wait, you have to do the 4 H's.
The 4 H's of Hispanic Hollywood.
Okay, you have to hear the 4... I can't even say it like that. The 4 H's of Hispanic Hollywood.
It's been a while, but sometimes I complain because Hispanics, we are always shown in basically 4 personalities.
Okay.
We are hysterical, like, Ricky Ricardo. Lucy! Oh my God! We are hormonal. Vicki Abelson. Where have you been all my life?
Oh.
Come with me to the Casbah.
In a minute. Okay.
Or, Hasta, what you looking at, sucker? I'll cut you. Or the last one, which is humble. We are the poor people. Please.
I didn't see that one.
Please helping to us. We cannot keep our shit together. Please, Senor Gringo, please helping to us. We don't want no problem.
Have you ever gone up for an audition and they've said to you, can you please sound Puerto Rican? Like, did they ever do
Don't
that
worry,
to you?
they go, can you be more, Latino? And I'm like, well, it depends what kind of Latino, I can be from Spain. I recently was
You
on
just sounded very Caucasian when you said that, by the way.
Of course. No, you know how I learned to sound Caucasian?
No.
Very Larchmont Lockjaw.
Yeah.
Morris, time for din-din. Remember those commercials?
I do.
What was that?
The cat.
The cat food. It was Morris. It was very, very like Larchmont Lockjaw cat.
It was an upscale Mexican.
Yes, tuna again.
That's right. That's what it was. Tuna again. Okay. Oh, wait. So we have a question. What?
Well, somebody says that the sound every so often is peaking and distorting.
Oh, you know what? Because we're using the mic.
Oh,
So maybe we want to
I'll
turn it
try
down.
that.
So, I want to give a shout out. I can't hold it, but I want to give a shout out to Blue,
Yes.
who gave us a raspberry,
Ooh.
and our friend Kevin Walt from Blue Can you hold it? No, it's taped down. You taped it down so it wouldn't get messed up. But Pete, if you can like turn down the gain, and you know what? Let's put it on the book. That's the earphone one. We have to do the other one. So Kevin Walt at Blue Microphones, love you, love my Blue microphone. This is the first time we're using it. You know why we're prepping? Because next week I'm interviewing Burt Young.
Oh, yes.
And Burt is very, very, very soft-spoken. I had the pleasure of meeting him with Candy Clark, who was with David Bowie in The Man Who Fell to Earth. Wow. So everything connects.
Love
but anyway,
movie. I love that movie.
Right? Oh. And they got naked together. Did you get naked with David?
No. I wasn't fortunate in that sense.
Okay, so
I think he was singing Iman at the time.
Was he already? No, he wasn't singing Iman in the 80s, was he?
Maybe. So I think they've been together.
You're right. They were together. So tell me about that story. We'll come back to.
I met David a few times, and he's just a wonderful soul. And I remember this one time. I don't know if I'd met him before or not. I remember seeing him before and after. I think hung out at a hotel room once with him and Iman.
Wow.
I heard great stories about him, crazy stories about him, and I kind of wanted to become him, I remember one story that he'd met these two fans, and
tell the story. He's gone now.
They were just, but they put it this way, they rocked his world. Ooh. And as a young man, back in the days, I just loved the thought of drowning in a sea of womanity. I know.
So you sang with him that night at the China Club?
That night, we did harmonies.
Oh, stop!
Last night, I'm at the Kibbutz room.
Oh, I know. Yeah. That's in the deli. Yeah.
These guys sing. Morty Coyle and his buddies. They used to be called the Imposters. I forget what their name is now, but they cover so many great music pieces, and they just do great stuff. And then he calls me up to do Beatle harmonies, and then afterwards we really, because I know just about every Beatles song or harmony.
Mitch
and Mitch and I have gone. We go off, yeah.
Wow.
And it's just it makes me happy. The vibrations, the sound of harmony does something to me that I cannot replace.
Okay, I'm posing something to you right now. That Linda Apsey, this is for you. So I don't know if you know this, but once a month I have a literary salon in the living room, and 50 women come. And so Mitch...
Not enough for me.
So Mitch... Oh, God. They'd all be they'd all over you. So they will be. They would be. They will be.
All you need is love, ladies.
Okay, so Mitch came and sang when Gary Marshall was here, and Carl Reiner's been here, and Norman Lear, and all these crazy people have been here. Mickey Dolenz has been here, and Howard Cale and Earth, Wind, and Fire have played in my living room. So what I'm posing is that I've been asked to ask you to please come to the living room. The women are here, and to come with Mitch Weissman and to do some Beatle harmonies,
easily,
and then be your activism self.
Sure.
He said sure. I have a lot of witnesses right now. Esai coined a word, activism, which we're going to get.
No, activist.
Activist. All right. Right. Well, activism would be the thing that you would do.
That's right.
Okay, so activist. I love that word. Okay, so let's go back to getting into performing arts. So
yeah, I auditioned for. I ran away from home 3 times. Yeah.
Now, why was that?
Well,
how old?
13, 14, and finally 15.
How far did you get?
Well, the first time at 13, I ran away to my aunt's house in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I went from the Bronx to Brooklyn. Because my mother did not want me to be an actor. She thought it was, foolish, and she wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer. I was getting really good report cards, and teachers would say very nice things about me, especially this one, Jacob Katz, Mishpucha.
Oh, my Mishpucha.
Jacob Katz.
Katz is my maiden name, my real name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, all in the family.
There you go.
We should eat at Katz Deli on Delight.
It's the best. It's the best pastrami in the world.
And the egg creams, the float. Oh, anyway. But I digress. Will be the name of my memoir.
That's a really good name for a memoir.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
So what were we talking?
So you were talking about you ran away.
Yes.
Wait, you were from the Bronx? Well, you lived in the Bronx?
Yes.
Where in the Bronx?
I'm Brooklyn born, Bronx bred, Queens crucified, Manhattan mainstream.
Me too.
That's my shtick, and I'm sticking to it.
I did all of those. Where in the Bronx?
Well, it started down like 138th Street, Brook Avenue, and as the South Bronx got hotter and hotter, we moved up, and every time we moved into a neighborhood, I guess people saw, there goes the neighborhood.
So where did you go to elementary school?
PS 33.
Which was?
Morris Avenue, 181st Street, around there. Grand Concourse
161st
area.
Street, Grand Concourse.
Oh my God.
Then Pelham Parkway for me. Then where did you go?
Then I kind of went up towards Fordham Road.
Okay. Alexander's.
Yep.
Oh, Jan's Ice Cream Parlor.
Oh my God.
Oh, hello.
Paradise Theater. Lowe's Paradise. Come on.
Of course.
I'm sure you was at that. You were on that balcony, I'm sure, making
Smoking
out.
pot.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for this school with one monologue from my aunt's house.
Okay, do you remember what the monologue was?
Yes.
What was it?
The Moon is Down by John Steinbeck.
How did you only get to do one? Didn't you have to do a contrasting?
I had to do two.
Right, okay. What was the other one?
I didn't.
Wait, what?
I just got in with one.
Stop it. You mean they just said stop, you're in?
No, I did my audition, and you have to understand this. I'm a little Puerto Rican kid, 13 years old, playing a Norwegian mayor of a town overrun by the Nazis. Okay? And I am going to be killed, and I know this. And I recite to them Socrates' denunciation.
Holy shit.
Where he says, you who are about to kill me. It starts out with, I'm a little man.
Did you just give yourself goosebumps?
Of course. That's what I do for a living. Come on. He says, goosebumps are us. So,
I want to say, I have to tell you this. I have to stop you. I was a little intimidated to meet you because I have to go through your people. I don't do that with any. I'm friends with everybody who does this show. You're one of the rare people that I have never met before who's doing this.
Can I tell you why?
And I was a little scared.
Can I tell you why?
Sure.
Because I'm a pushover. I want to make everybody happy.
Libra.
And yesterday I had a meeting, and and everything sounds good to me. And my management then has to slap me around and go, Esai, calm down. You can't be everything to everybody. You can't, you have to let the process, filter these things out. And frankly, one of the reasons I wasn't kind of ready to do this show at this point is because I felt like I don't have something to push. I don't have something to promote. And I want to be, I don't want to be here looking like, lost, but this is long form. So I decided it was okay because it's a big conversation. Most interviews, they get cut off so quick.
Right. And this show is the furthest thing from being about pushing the thing you're doing now, because this is about who you are and how you manage to do what you do, because there are a lot of people out there that are still striving to become what they dream of being.
I'm still striving to become. So don't feel left out.
No, but
we're all in this together.
Well, you die when you're done, right? When you die, you die. But so you're
I'm going to still keep going. Death is no excuse. You work hard.
But the thing is that you've accomplished so many of your dreams. You have. And it's something that a lot of us, me included, at 63, is still trying to do.
A fraction. Do you know I wanted to be in music? I wanted to be what Michael Jackson was.
Ooh. Did you do musicals in? Oh,
I did the Sound of Music, The King and I, and I got my first taste of fame when I did. It was The Sound of Music. In 5th grade, I believe, 5th or 6th grade.
And who were you in The Sound of Music?
Kurt.
Oh my God!
The 10-year-old, right? But guess who I really was? I was known after that play as Puppet Man. People like, "Yo, Puppet Man!" New York urban kind of thing. "Yo, Puppet Man!" And I was like, "What?" And I remembered, oh my God, that's right. I played a puppeted character because instead of us doing, high on the hill, there's a lonely goatherd. The 3 elder Von Trapp children puppeteered the 3 younger Von Trapp children. And I remember watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh my God.
Dick Van Dyke did that whole thing where he was a puppet and he and I channeled him.
Are you a mimic?
A little bit.
Uh-huh. I can tell it with the voices.
Yes, I like to mimic. I like languages. Anyway, but I was doing this puppet thing, and it killed.
Wow.
They loved it because I just, again, if you want to be in this business, really it's about committing yourself. You don't just do this because you want to be popular, you want to, get dates easily and all that sort of thing.
Although, Mitch Weissman,
No, it helps, but let me tell you, then if you do get fame and fortune, then you don't know who really loves you for you. That's another kind of like, half a dozen of one or six of the other.
Is that a tricky thing? I bet that's still a tricky thing for you.
Sure it is.
People that want to hang on and get to know you.
Well, here's the funny thing, right? Mm-hmm. You and I could be talking, and Peter walks in. And then you go, oh, Peter, he's such a user. Then Peter and I are talking, right? Hey, Peter. Oh, Vicki, she's just such a user. Everybody thinks everybody else is screwed up. Even in your own family. They're like, oh, yeah, well, you hang out with the rich people. It's like, oh, God. Everybody's got something to say, so you can't let things get to you, but you have to be as sincere and honest as you can. But, this whole fame and fortune thing isn't all it's cracked up to be, and it brings a lot of pressures. Because, we don't always do well. We don't always, sit on top of the world.
Can you talk about a failure? Because this is, and I don't mean to focus on this, but this is helpful to people. Like, was there anything that you went after that you really wanted that you didn't get?
Yes.
Can you name one?
No.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because I forgot about it. Hey, you know what?
That's the best answer.
Yes, because you can't live your life in
that.
what could have been. I wanted things badly, and I thought, okay, this will change my life. Now, here's the thing. When I was 18 years old, or around that time, 17, between 16 and 18, I was almost discovered here and there. And there's these people and this stuff, and I'm going to put you in a movie. I got my share of, like, sketchy people trying to manipulate me when I was a PYT. You know what I mean? Men too. Women. Everybody's trying to like.
Did you have your Me Too stories?
Oh sure.
Oh hell yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, pretty boy.
But the thing is, you're either gonna let these things define you or refine you.
Ooh, I like that.
That's I have a quote.
Define or refine. Go ahead.
Don't let failure define you. Let it refine you.
I love that.
Because half the things that we suffer through in this world eventually become the things that make us who we are and strong.
Absolutely.
So I look at my tormentors with pity, not with rage. And I save my rage for the people who know what they're doing and still do it. You know what I mean?
Like?
Companies that take advantage of man's inhumanity to man. People, industries that bank on us being bad. Therefore, there's nothing in it for them if we evolve out of that. And frankly, they don't want us to evolve because they're well when we're fighting each other. And whether it's the men and women thing, ageism, there's any reason to divide and conquer people, but we're so lost fighting each other politically, culturally, that we don't realize who our worst enemy is, and it's usually something within ourselves that allows ourselves to be manipulated easily.
Was there something specific that woke up your activism? I know your mother was an activist.
My mother was a union organizer, the #1 union organizer for the International Ladies Garment Workers Union between the years 1967 and 70.
Wow.
And she was a firebrand, and she barely spoke English at the time, but she spoke justice.
Wow.
And the women understand justice. Okay.
Ooh, that's really. You're full of these good ones. I'm liking this
I'm
one.
full of it. But one of my earliest memories of my mother is me playing with toys and doing my little kid thing, and hearing her in the background talking to other women, talking to people in general about how not to get exploited by their bosses, by their husbands, by their wives. But she was just always giving people advice.
Wow.
And always helping people, and it makes me cry to think. So few people.
So you're a little kid. How old are you when your mother's doing this? You're a little
3
kid.
3 to 8.
You're 3 to 8, but it makes an impression.
Oh, yes.
As you are now making on your daughter.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, so...
You can only hope to make impressions on your kid. It's like you throw it out there. If it settles in, fine. If it doesn't, you never know, because as much as you think, all the fantasies you have about being a parent, life has a way of going,
you can say that, and I think that's probably true to an extent, but
it's still great.
But I mean, like my kids, I'm incredibly blessed. My son is 24, my daughter is 20. They are good people.
That's what you want at the end of the day, right?
People, kind, loving, good people.
I think you've done a successful job.
Well,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Because you can't guarantee their financial success, their political or social success.
Absolutely.
You cannot.
Although they're good at all of that.
As parents, we actually threaten their social life. Mom, dad, they want to look cool away from us.
My daughter's constantly rolling her eyes.
Oh yeah, my God. My daughter started at 4 years old. Seriously? I'm like, too many vowels. You're not even 5 yet, girl. So anyway, but the John Lennon thing is, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. That's my favorite quote of his. Mm-hmm. And I found it to be true. So when people go, what are your dreams? I'm almost past dreams.
What does that mean? Are you in the moment? Are you in the now? Are you focused on, okay, well, this is where I am?
My dream is not going backwards to where I used to be. Mm-hmm. My dream is rising, shining from the heart and the head up, and evolving to an angelic place if possible. I don't want to die. I want to just go. I want to one day, you hear that some people didn't go through the death process. There's a word for that. They just ascended.
I saw your ghost story today. Oh my, you were a little kid and a face appeared for you. So you believe.
I believe there's, I know that we don't know everything. Therefore, we should be careful about what we poo-poo to others. Oh, that's not possible. Oh, really? You'd be surprised. Because we only operate in these 3 dimensions. Mm-hmm. There are many more dimensions. People can see us.
I believe that.
Things,
are you a spiritual person? You sound like a spiritual person.
I am, yet in Hollywood, that's become almost cliche. Yeah. I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. I believe that something up there loves me, at least. I know that. I know that when I pray really hard and really earnestly, like when my gal had our baby, and she had preeclampsia, and they'd taken her out through cesarean, and all of a sudden her blood pressure dropped. And when the people in masks, Peter, I don't know if you know, when you're with the kid, when the people start looking at each other, I know, but when they start looking at each other like, what do we do now?
Oh, that happened with my son. They were panicking. My wife goes, what? Just tell me. And they go, emergency cesarean. And they got her right in and cut her right open and brought me in, and everything was laying there, and it was like, wow, what a rush. It
is a rush. But imagine after that cesarean that your wife's blood pressure just goes down. Ooh. And that's preeclampsia. She could eventually die.
Right.
And I got on my knees and I put my forehead against hers, and there was no question.
Faith.
It's beyond faith. It's like, no, God, I love you, whoever you are. This is not happening. This is not happening.
Wow.
You have to will. You have to will. When you pray really hard, from the bottom of your soul, every cell in your body says, no, this will not happen. You force God's hand.
Do you really believe that?
I think there's a piece of that, because every time that something has almost destroyed my life, and I mean it, on a variety of levels.
Wow.
And I beg, and the universe hears you. I'm not going to sit here. I know my religious inklings and feelings, but we're all blind. We can't say, okay, yes, God tapped me on the shoulder and said, son, you're doing well, keep going, No, but that's why it's called faith, because if it were provable, you wouldn't need faith. Faith is that which you cannot prove. So why are you going to argue with somebody about something you cannot prove one way or the other? Why are you going to kill someone?
I believe in faith, but I'm a 12-stepper, so I believe also in God's will.
Yes.
And that it's God's will, not my will. That God knows better than I know. My higher power knows better than I know what is good for me.
And I think that's a beautiful expression of humility. But at the same time, I'm also a thinker who says, well, maybe this whole concept of God that we have is a cartoon book version of whatever the reality is, because now we're learning that the Anunnaki came down. If you read the oldest Sumerian tablets, we were created. There's a reason there's a missing link, because we did not evolve just from the animal We were infused. The human race, those who walked on the hunches, whatever. Once we stood up, the Cro-Magnon, the whole human big brain thing that we have now, was a mixture of the caveman and whoever came. We are made in their image, and they are God to us. And in order for us not to rebel, we were put in mental prisons. We were made smart enough to serve them, but not too smart to rebel against them. Yet rebel we do, and we try. So we're learning all these things that may make me go, okay, this may or may not be true, but I'm not going to argue with you about it. I can passionately debate, but I'm not going to go, you're an idiot because you don't believe what I believe. Guess what? I didn't believe what I believed until a certain point, and I'm probably going to evolve from that too.
I was going to say, always evolving all the time.
So
I believe we can manifest, we can affirm and manifest.
Yes.
So in that way, I believe we have our will, and maybe we can change our stars.
I believe in God, whatever that means, big G, little g, so much that I believe in your right not to. I respect atheists because they're honest. I don't respect people who hide behind the religiosity to, look down upon others and to feel, we're saved, pity them. You know what? But for the grace of God go I. And then I understand atheists because the part of me says, well, maybe it's all in my head. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe there's no one person God, but there's an energy of God. I don't know for sure. What I do know is love, giving and receiving. That I know. And I know that somebody loves me enough to bring me this far, and I haven't destroyed myself for others.
Is that a part of you have a tremendous social conscience that's very clear.
I'd like to. I'm still working on myself. There are many things in my life that I'm not proud of. I'm not one of those people that says, I have no regrets.
Well.
I have a few, but some pretty, pretty good ones. I think we all, if we're really honest with ourselves, we could find something we regret if we have ever hurt anyone else.
I've spent a lot of time making amends.
Yeah, and sometimes they're not here.
Correct, absolutely.
And sometimes you can't find them. But
so that's a living amends. So then we change the behavior.
That's right.
And therefore that's an amend.
I think if you don't learn from your mistakes, then why are you here? We're here to make mistakes and then to learn from them and evolve. I think each and every one of us is a piece of God. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And I am he as you are he and you are me and we're all together.
Cuckoo-cuckoo.
You know what I mean? So,
Pete, does anybody have anything to have there been any asks or are we just having comments? What's going on?
Thank you,
Amazing
David.
in Ozark.
David,
okay,
bravo. Bravo, David. Thank you for the...
I love David Bravo. He's a great keyboard player from New York, from the China, and he played at the China Club.
Dude,
yes.
Thank you.
He probably sang in front. So how did the singing start? Did you take lessons? Did you take dance?
Occasionally, but I'm a natural mover or whatever.
I
but I'm
saw
not
you
dance.
teach little kids how to dance in what movie was that?
That was called Mi Familia.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful film.
I have to watch it. I haven't seen it.
It's one of my Mexican epic classics. There's La Bamba. There's Mi Familia. Those two films have ensured my honorary Chicano status.
It's beautiful. The scene where you're teaching the kids to dance is just beautiful.
I have a little kid. Yeah, this is it. This is why we live. I've met billionaires, and I've hung out with, most of my friends are the opposite.
Are you still friends with the guys from the Bronx and Brooklyn?
Some. If people keep in touch, yes. It's hard though when you're out there and you got 1,000 Facebook requests, and occasionally I'm hey. Now you got people, let's do this, let's do that. If I were to have dinner and lunch with everybody that wanted to have dinner and lunch, I would no longer have the the time to do the reasons they want me to have dinner and lunch with.
Right.
You have to. It's all time management, and I'm not the most organized person in the world. I kind of go where the day takes you. I try. You make a list occasionally, but I'm one of these instinctive people. I just Now my other half, she has 10 alarm clocks.
That's good. So opposites attract, and that's what makes it work.
And that's what I wanted our child to have. A real wide spectrum of personality traits that she can
pick and choose.
Pick and choose. Say, you know what, you're like that, okay. I just want her, I mean, and I'm so happy for her. My daughter wrote a 191-page graphic novel.
What?
Yes. At 7 years old. She's 8 now. She's working on the sequel.
I have a group called Women Who Write. It looks like she qualifies.
She loves it. I mean, it's children
all right,
stuff.
Yeah,
it's not,
okay.
Jane Eyre or whatever.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Question, John O'Donnell says, yes, what are your thoughts, opinions of the Resurrection Boulevard experience?
Resurrection Boulevard was a very special project because, it was like the first Latino family show on, in a very long time. And it lasted more than a season. And the creator is a dear friend of Dennis Leone, who subsequently I became friends with. And, he's just a very talented person, and he pours his heart and soul into his work. And it was a family. I mean, I just saw today Tony Plana leaving the meeting that I just raced here from. Elizabeth Pena, who passed away, who was my woman in La Bamba.
Yes.
Rosie in La Bamba was also in that. Resurrection Boulevard was a
I just watched an interview the three of you did.
Oh, yeah, for Columbia University and Columbia College, I think, in Chicago. I did not know that would be the last time I saw her. Oh, my God, did I cry. I'm not used to people. I'm getting older. And you know how you
I'm not.
You know how you know you're getting older when
everybody starts to die, get sick
people
and die.
People are dying and falling apart or having Today I went in for something. It's a grandfather.
No, stop.
Oh my God.
No, that's just wrong.
I improvised.
No.
And the second time I did this thing, okay, do this again, do this, and I improvised. And Grandpa, I'm like, you say that again, I'm going to suffocate you where you sleep.
I know when I showed Esai's picture to my son, he said, "Oh, that's Laurel's dad," because it's How to Get Away with Murder. And to him, you're a dad. To me, you're not a dad.
I'm a papi chulo.
Okay, what does that mean, a papi chulo?
Papi chulo. It's like
that.
Hot
it's
dad.
that. All right, we got another one.
Somebody said you make a great couple. So.
Yeah, well, he's.
Lance Simmons.
Oh, Lance Simmons.
Lance.
Okay, so Lance said.
So he says, so there are a few of us token males who join Women Who Write with Vicki.
Lance is here every month.
And he said that you and he worked together many years ago trying to protect SAG from itself. He said, we failed. Hey, buddy, looking good.
Oh, thank you, Lance. And Lance is doing great stuff, too.
He is. He ran for office. He's out there trying to do it.
There are people in this world that are either part of the solution or don't care that they're part of the problem.
So
because if you're not part of the solution, you're most probably part of the problem.
What sparked your activist?
My activism?
Yeah.
Well, first being an actor, and then when you get attention, all of a sudden, what do you do with this attention? All of a sudden, you have a platform. And in certain cases, you see how other people, whether it was Marlon Brando or others, Harry Belafonte, they're extremely prolific with their causes and their energy. And I'm thinking, why do I do this? Initially, it was, to have girls like you.
I'm sure that worked.
But honestly, to get love,
but it's all about getting love. It's all about getting love. It really is.
And then, but you can't love everybody. God knows I try.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The 80s.
Whatever.
Yay!
Oh yeah. So, but you try to figure out what is the meaning. I mean, I hate to be corny about this, but why are we here?
So
surely not to live in pain or fear. Anyway.
What sparked what was the thing that kicked you in that door? Do you remember?
I don't know that it was any one thing.
Oh,
I got to tell you that it was mostly my mother's taste for justice. I remember once in the street, and this is a kind of a terrible image, but there's some folks who grew up in our era who understand, that being physical wasn't the end of the world in days where you didn't shoot or stab everyone right away. I remember I had gotten into this thing with these kids on the block.
A fight?
Yeah. And then they were like 4 or 5 on me. And then my mother's like, no, stop. And she's trying to take them off of me. And then their mother. And all of a sudden, it's a family affair. We're like, bah, 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 bah. My mother and I mean, what? I'm like 7 or 8, 9 years old. I don't know what it was. What? But we were duking it out in the Bronx, in the street. And like, that was one of the things I was telling my mom as she remembered, as she's lying in bed. I'm like, Mom, remember? We bonded, babe. We bonded, man. We were like thrown down.
Your mother threw down?
Oh, my mother was no joke. She was 5, she's 5'1", but she's the kind of person in the union, right? Mm-hmm. They'd send to slap a cop and start a riot. Mm. And she would do it. Wow. I mean, there were times where she had to send somebody to go make sure I was okay at home because she got arrested.
Wow.
Oh, my mother was a real union.
Wow.
Because, the thought is I hear these people working like slaves, without proper facilities, without breaks. I'm like, come on. If you allow people will abuse the hell out of each other.
I was in the Progressive Labor Party when I was 5. So yeah.
You understand that. Mm-hmm. But then there's the extreme to that. Mm-hmm. Then unionism becomes management of its own sort. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you have the fat cat union people who are more in love with their power than the power to help.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden it's about keeping their position, their perks, and that's what I think Lance was talking about.
Oh, the SAG thing?
Well, yes, because we're membership first. We're put the membership first. That's where we make our dues. This is where our money comes from. It should go to them. Mm-hmm. And so it's been an ideological battle that we've been losing a lot lately, and the other side is more organized. And I have to say, I ran for president twice. Not because I thought it was a great idea, but because they asked me. Mm-hmm. I personally thought, oh my God, attack me. And sure enough, they got low. They said things, the opposition was scared.
Speaking
when they're scared, they go low.
Okay, speaking of running for office, is that something you'd ever consider?
Not anymore.
Why?
Because let me put it
He's not only good looking, he's intelligent too.
No, thank you. It's something I did consider for a while, especially when my acting wasn't doing too much. I'm like, I better start acting in another arena. And since I like people,
that had to be a very short period of time. You're pretty dense on your IMDb there.
Yeah, but the grass is always greener. Mm-hmm. Remember that, especially if you're not smoking it. Anyway, politics is a dirty business because it's a business ultimately. Mm-hmm. Entities invest. Okay? Not everybody does the Bernie Sanders route. Mm-hmm. And if these people that put in millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars into your campaign don't get what they want, you don't get, you don't come back. Mm-hmm. So it's a horse race where people, pool their resources to buy a horse. You've done that. I've got an ear on this champion. 50,000, you can get a leg or whatever.
I haven't personally, but yes, I've
people
heard
do
tell.
That. Yeah. So I wish politicians had the labels of who buys them on there, because that's truth in advertising or whatever. That's full disclosure. Mm-hmm. But you don't, and you have this game with the public, which is promise the hell out of the people, tell them whatever they want to hear, and once they get in office, once you get there, then slowly start changing. Well, now that I'm here, well, you can't do this. Well, we were trying to do, and it just becomes a joke. Mm-hmm. And so I just don't think I could take money from people and then not give them what they want, because then you're compromised. Mm-hmm. And then the thing is, they're going to go into your life and your private life. And
you're very private, aren't you? I mean, I get that sense of you.
Not. I am a person who can be too open, which is why I need to be private. Oh. Do you see what I'm saying?
But you're very protective of the people that you love.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Because I can be open, but I can't thrust that upon my child.
And I love that you did that. That you pull back on that.
You just have to. Mm-hmm. So anyway, getting back to politics.
No, I have pictures of my kids in the bathtub.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I asked their permission first.
I was mortified about a naked picture of mine, and I'm facing down with my butt. I'm like, I was like, now I'm looking at it, like, what was I talking about?
I know. I ask my kids first before I do that stuff.
So anyway, but politics I watch it because I'm fascinated. Right now, there are two people that I really love.
Who's that?
And they're both women. You know? Now, I'm not into this women thing as a fad. Because I was an Alan Alda feminist many years ago, before it was the fad. Because I believe in fairness. And all men are half female. We're XY. Okay?
I like that.
Women are XX, men are XY. Means they took one of our X's and they bound our legs together. Tied us up, so we're a Y. Now the only thing we do with that Y is cleave the other X, but that's another story.
I like the cleaving.
That's, some people, now you have to get it written in consent. In any case, no, I believe the pendulum swings a little bit too much and things are done in groupthink that are unfair.
Tell me who you like.
Tulsi Gabbard and Marianne Williamson.
Okay, today I just wrote to Marianne. Marianne came out. Marianne was in my living room. When she was running for Congress. And Marianne came out today that she is running for president.
Yes, she is.
And is the second I got the email, I wrote her back and I said, Marianne, it's time to come back.
Yeah.
And I love Marianne.
Now, understand, a lot of people were telling me, why aren't you supporting Hillary? Why aren't you doing this and that? And I got to say, Hillary Clinton was wonderful for our organization in the past. She's supported the National Hispanic Foundation for the Arts. And I'm
a Hillary fan.
Grateful. But I also understand why the people that don't like her don't like her. And I understand that she has to compromise things, but I just think that what we got now, as crazy as it seems for some people, has engaged more people. Look who's running. Everybody thinks they can run now. Everybody. From Schultz to The Rock to this one. It's opened the playing field. And it's incredible. In a sense, it's good and it's kind of bad because it's going to be hard to... How do you filter through all these people? But I love Tulsi Gabbard because, A, she's not afraid to say things that may not be popular. And both these women are anti-war. What happened to the anti-war movement? It's gone. I remember in the 80s, Ed Asner, all these great actors and activists. I mean, we were standing strong. We were strong about anti-war.
So you're too young to have marched. Like I watched
60s
Vietnam. Yeah, you were too young, and I did it very.
But
young,
I watched it. I watched it, but I felt it. I felt it. Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy.
Yeah,
John
you were.
I still cried about that. JFK. It still hurts me. We would have a very different world today if a certain select group of people with power and privilege did not take it upon themselves to murder and frame other people for it. Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do it. He was a patsy. He was also a double agent for the CIA and the FBI. He ratted out the CIA operations and they got arrested. Who did it? According to certain papers, there were like 8 shooters. They were not going to take a chance with one. One was a lone gunman, gets off 3 shots. No. This was kind of thing that, like the Pope, if you miss now, he has a Pope-mobile. So they couldn't miss. And there were certain people. I mean, it's out there. It's out there. And a lot of people, a handful of people take credit for the shot, but it came from the front. It was a conspiracy, but you can be sure that when they quickly tell you, okay, it's one person, it's go away, everything, that they're covering up something because they don't want people asking questions. And the whole concept of conspiracy theorist, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? That whole term as a negative, as a pejorative term, was designed after they realized that a lot of mom and pop investigators would be like, wait a minute, this bullet, how could it have gone through these people and done all this and that and not have a scratch on it? Wait a minute, how could this doesn't add up? How could why was Lee Harvey Oswald at the theater way over there? How did they know that he was there? Like, there was too many things. Sirhan, come on. He was a mind control person. Look up MK Ultra. They have people there to take the fall, but they don't care. They're not going to leave it to some crazy person. They got their real shooters backing up. And you know who talks about that? Jesse Ventura. He's another one I really like. Jesse Ventura, a wrestler. He speaks more truth to power. He was in there. He was a governor. He understands the way the game works. He's living in Mexico now. Isn't that interesting? He has to live in Mexico because he's not free enough in this country. Yeah. So I like Tulsi Gabbard because she calls it as she sees it. And I like defense. I like good, strong aerospace companies. I like good drugs, pharmaceuticals. I used to be asthmatic. I could have died without my inhaler. Mm-hmm. But there comes a point where I want your service. I do not want to be enslaved by you. Mm-hmm. I do not want to pay $400 a month. Oh, don't worry, your insurance pays for it. Guess what? I don't want my insurance to pay $400 a month for something that costs you 80 cents to make. I don't think that is fair. It's, things in Cuba, you can get an operation for $5,000 that costs $500,000. Something like that. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And it's like, come on, enough is enough. Mm-hmm. Somehow people don't care if they destroy certain industries, but another ones, those are jobs. Come on. When are we going to evolve? There's enough space on this planet for everyone.
So why all this and why not run?
Because I think I have more freedom from the sidelines than somebody who has to spend 70% of their time fundraising. I can't stand asking for money.
Okay, so you're gonna.
I can barely stand people asking me for money.
So you're gonna support. You're gonna get behind your candidates and you're gonna.
Yeah, if I can, but even then it's sketchy because you get behind one, then five other go. Oh, come talk to me for my people because I'm a communicator. Ultimately, I love to get out there and reach you. Yeah, you. Yeah, no, you, yes. It's. I feel like I can talk to people because we share a language. We share something that it's an invisible bond, human beings.
You have people creaming that how amazing you are. Pete, is there anybody who has anything that they want to...
No questions.
Okay, no questions.
They're too much in shock.
They're too much.
I'm talking too much crapola.
Okay, so
typical actor stuff.
So let's get back to the actor thing. We've done the actorvism. Let's get back to the actor thing for a minute. How did you get Bad Boys? How did that break happen?
Oh my God! I tell this story. Some of you might have heard it before.
I've never heard it, and I've heard a lot of your stuff, and I haven't heard it.
Yeah, I just want to finish one last thing about the activism.
Yes.
I thought instead of talking about myself, which nobody's ever heard an actor go on and on about themselves, I can shine a light that is almost unduly shown upon me to something that needs attention. And that's why I just find that the older you get, the more spiritual class you acquire.
This is a hope. You're saying the you, but that's not necessarily so. But it is
you're right.
True
But,
for you,
but hopefully, but people in general, age tends to,
Hopefully.
Yes, not everyone that's older gets it, but so I just wanted to not let it all be about me, and I know there's so much need in this world. Why can't I just divert some of that attention to something that really matters? Because I think who we date and what we wear, unless you're in the fashion industry, and even then, give it a rest, I got upset when the Oscars became more about who you were taking and what you were wearing than the quality of the performances, which are arguable anyway. But it became like, it became okay to talk about, so what are you wearing? Let's go to a fashion show for that. Why did the arts become so superficial? Why does entertainment reporting become so kind of sordid? And if you want to, leak a sex tape out, now you're famous. It's like, why are we paying attention? Because we're being led by the nose, and it just makes me so upset to see how little truly important things get attention, that I'm like, oh, don't talk about me and my whatever. Let's look over here. So that's why I became an activist, and now I have to wonder if I'm not spreading myself too thin. If you have too many causes, people don't take you seriously. You have to focus, kind of thing. If you want
so what's your focus on now?
Well, it's multiple. Entertainment industry parody, meaning I'd like to play human beings every once in a while. People ask me all the time, what role would you like to play the most? And I hate to say, someone like me. Someone that's
nice.
Kind of complicated and not about one thing only and not a stereotype. It's somebody who's...
Not a Latino, just a man.
Yeah, just a man who happens to be Latino, okay, but I don't focus around going, how am I going to Latinoize this? Let me do this Latino. Come on, you don't think about, am I going to do this white way or the Jewish way or whatever, or I'm going to be an American. And I just find that so much of, our soundtrack is guitars, trumpets, and congas. Literally. There was a time where every time I saw myself on screen,
Is that so?
Bad Boys,
that's
you know.
the Latino soundtrack?
Yeah, but in La Bamba it got rock and roll.
Right.
You know, Who Do You Love? At least I got a cool soundtrack. But I'm just saying, I feel that my job, along with others, like, you know, many people out there. I don't want to name some and then not the others.
Right.
But they're here lending their humanity so that the rest of society doesn't fear us. You know, we are not the other. It's so easy to go.
Is there still that in the world for you?
If people don't know what I do for a living,
yeah. Can you see that in people's eyes?
Yeah, there's a shift.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shift, and the shift comes in like.
But actually, you don't really look.
You know, right now I got my hair kind of longish. You know, I got my Mendocino coast. You know, I look kind of surfer dude. You know, like so.
You do
cool.
look kind of surfer dude.
But when I have a mustache or short cropped hair,
Mm-hmm.
and I have that that Latino look, you know, I'm a police officer. You know.
Or Ozark. Oh my God, we have to talk about that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Good stories from there. So yeah, I just want us to. I don't always want to play a cartel guy. I don't always want to kill nice people. I don't.
Or be a cop. You don't need to always be a cop.
But those there's certain professions. The Irish went through it. The Italians went through it. You know, the Jewish are going to be the accountant or whatever. You know, everybody has their tropes. You know, their stereotypes. So I just want to broaden it. You know, Italians went from being the gangsters to being full on Americans when Pacino and De Niro and Brando, even though he's not Italian, it's just old names. Anyway, when it became okay. Italian Americans became part of the American family.
Where did that happen? You're absolutely right.
Saturday Night Fever,
yeah.
Moonstruck. I mean, these movies humanize
absolutely
the culture, and then it's not so them against us.
And it has not happened in the Latino.
Not fully.
Although look what Norman Lear is doing. My friend Norman Lear with One Day at a Time.
90, how much?
Right, 96. He is 96.
Unstoppable.
He is unbelievable. We went to his office. He was literally. He had a meeting before we were there. He was going to another one at me. He had a box of shows. He's still pitching. I mean, he's unbelievable. Yeah. But he made One Day at a Time, and he revamped it as a Latino version, and it's going into season 3. It's
Justina Machado, who is amazing, my friend, and of course, Miss.
Kelly?
Rita
Moreno. Oh my God! No, and you won her award.
Miss EGOT, whatever. Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. I
saw her on Broadway in the Ritz. She was amazing. But you won.
She's more Jewish than Puerto Rican now, right? She's practically. Her husband's Jewish,
and you won the Rita Moreno.
I won something.
Ola Award.
Something else.
Yes, the Hispanic.
God, you do your homework. See, that's why.
But you also won a Lifetime Achievement Award, which is for
old people.
But you won it as a young man.
I did.
For your activism. And that's.
So to bring it back to the beginning.
Okay, so go back. So how'd you get Bad Boys?
I used up.
Are you in New York at the time?
New York City.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I was actually the superintendent of the walk-up tenement that I was living in.
Wow,
I was
where?
The super. On 11th Street between 1st and 2nd.
Oh.
By Venero's, the Italian pastry.
Oh
my God. And the Black Forest, the German place, the German cakes. Oh. And I had this audition for this movie, and so, oh my God, Bad Boys, yes, of course, the bad guy. You rape Sally Sheedy's character, who I didn't know her name at the time, but I read the script, and oh God, he's such a bad guy, but it's a good script. I mean, it's got a good movie, it's gripping, and...
Was Sean Penn
No, I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
No. That was his third movie.
That was before Fast Times? Was it before Fast Times?
We went to see Fast Times at the theater together. Me, him, and
Stop!
He saw it, and I saw him watch himself, which was fascinating because I'd never seen an actor watch themselves in a movie before.
Did he like himself?
He was mesmerized. He was just watching
Oh my God!
And very focused. He couldn't talk to him. He was
How old were you guys?
I was 19. He was 22.
Oh my God!
Brilliant actor. Complicated,
Very complicated.
Yeah, but I've had we interesting relationship. We see each other after many years. And it's like, and then after 5 minutes, it kind of feels like I feel like the awkward guy.
It's hard to imagine you as the awkward guy.
I'm the awkward
Is it hard to imagine
I'll tell you why.
Because
I'm an empath. I'm not into just, hey, we've made it, I'm in the cool group. I like,
you want to get in there.
I like the uncomfortable questions, or I think I'm a little too human for some people, or just
Well, you're
awkward.
very passionate, and you are an open, but I love the fact, I wasn't expecting this at all, but I love the fact that you are so open and so emotional. Very passionate.
I know. I guess this is a good living to make, right? If
you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing.
So I see this character, and I'm wondering if I even want to do this, man. It's just like,
why?
Oh, it's bad
boy. Yeah.
It's like being Jewish and only being offered roles as Shylock. You know what I mean? It's like being black and only being the murderer, the bad guy. It's like, come on. But I just thought, okay, let me see. And then I thought, okay, I can give this guy another dimension, because he's not bad because he's Latino. His brother was killed by Sean's character. So it's he's not bad innately. It's his rage that he's lost his beloved little brother, beautiful little brother. So I said, okay, I get an angle on this guy. He's not just a bad guy. So
can I ask you a question quickly? I'm sorry to digress, but
I've been doing it the whole time.
Do you find the thing to love it? Do you love your character? Do you find the thing to embrace and love?
Oh, yeah. We're
going to talk about what that is in the Ozark character in a minute, but first let's stay with Bad Boys.
So with Bad Boys, for those who care, I went to this audition, and I got in there. And it's like, some like 1650 Broadway or some sort of like, downtown address, and you're up there.
I remember 1650 Broadway.
Oh, yeah. It's something like that. Maybe not that exact one, but...
Or maybe it was 1650 Avenue of the Americas. Anyway,
but the point is, you're in this room with every big, bad, beautiful, ugly, tough, cool... I mean, I'm looking around, I'm going, what the hell am I doing here? Even that guy with the muscles and the braid. Remember when the karate thing was a little braid that they used to have, the little braid, with the little the Asian like rice hat, the field hat, the guy with the vest with muscles on his muscles, and I was like,
and you're 19-ish?
I'm 19. No, I think 18 at the time. God. Yeah, no, just about. Oh yeah. 19.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't going anywhere. And I'm like, damn it, I used up my money for the subway. I need to, I was living on $2 a day in New York in those days, when you could live on $2 to $3 a day.
Pizza was a quarter a slice or something? Yeah.
50 by that point. But the point is, I'm like, why did I bother? And I'm looking at just everybody. And one guy's voice was like, those guys whose voices rumble. I can do it only after a certain thing, when I get out of breath. If I dry out my vocal cords, all of a sudden I sound like Barry White. And then, this guy was, how you doing?
Sorry, I just went somewhere else. Okay,
yeah, I was there with you. But post.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I got to get out of here. I can't believe I wasted my subway money on this. And I just got up. And they take so long. I was like, I'm out of here. I don't need this. I'm out of here. Why do I play some bad guy making my people look bad? So I'm going to the elevator, and I push down, and I look at this down thing. All of a sudden, ding, the down. Do you know how the sign down is 2 lines like this? And I just was mesmerized by that. Ding! And something inside me said, you're going down. You're going down? Really? You're done? That's it? This is what you're going to do for a living? You're going to walk out because you see other people?
Wow.
Intimidating? You're intimidated? You who got stabbed in your forearm, okay, by 2 guys try to take your cassette tape and you never let it go? You lived in a home for boys, split an open blood can. You a fighter with your mom in the street. You're going to just down? And I got so angry at myself. I walked back in that room and I said, yes. I said, no. No, and I remembered how the character was written. It was cobra-like, panther-like. And inside, I just hypnotized myself. I became a caged panther, pacing back and forth. And I looked at everyone in that room, and I imagined myself ripping them to shreds. I imagined myself. Wow. I mean, it was just like, And by the time they called me into that room, I had an attitude.
Wow.
And I was just, all right, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Fine, yeah. Can we do this?
You just kept it.
It just, and I did my thing. I did one way, okay, thank you, goodbye. And I walked out, and I never looked back. And I never thought about it again. I said, you know what? I did what I had to do. I did my best. I'm not going to sit there by the phone like I hope they call me. Oh, my God. Did they call? Did they call? No. You did what you could do. There's nothing more for you to do.
Wow.
Go on. Move on. That's what I tell actors. Move on. As long as you did your best, move on.
Oh, Samantha, I hope you're watching this, my daughter.
It's their job after that to figure out that you're the best one for it, if they can. If they don't, that's their problem. Okay? Moving on.
Love that.
Didn't hear back. Didn't hear back.
Wait, now
got no feedback.
Are
got
you
nothing.
able to do that? Are you still able to do that?
Yeah. There are times where you have to.
You don't hold on. You never go. Oh fuck! You don't do the oh fuck! I'm sitting by the phone thing. No. Yay.
No. Why?
Okay, so what happened?
Why? They're gonna call you if they want you. They'll let you know.
I love this.
You don't have to bug them. That's like, that's desperate time.
Well, no, I don't mean actually doing anything.
No,
I just mean waiting. The waiting. The waiting is the hardest part.
Waiting is what can waiting get you further?
Absolutely no.
End of story. Move on.
I love
Play
that.
with yourself. Do something else.
So what happened? How long did it take?
I don't know. I never heard back. Okay. A month or two later.
Wow.
Esai, good news. You're in first position for that movie you auditioned for last month. What? First position? What does that mean? Well, they're looking at certain people, but you're the top of their list. I'm like, really?
Wow.
A movie? Okay, cool. Then I was waiting by the phone. No, I'm just kidding. No, but then I'm like, wow. And, I was a superintendent of that building because that's the only way I got a deal on the apartment. And they broke into the apartment, stole my stereo and stuff. It was a thing. I had roommates. But once I got that movie, I went off to do it.
Did you have to do a callback?
No.
No callback?
No, I don't think so, no.
Wow.
No, I can't recall, to be honest with you, but I don't think so. I think they saw what they needed to see.
Mm-hmm. Did your life change from that?
A little bit, but not what I thought. And that's what I was going to tell you earlier, when other people promise you the world and stuff. Because as a kid, you're thinking, oh God, I got to go uphill until my big break. Once I get my big break, people will discover the greatness of me. Like everybody who knows me, right? They all love you. Hey, you should be an actor. You should do this. And then it'll be smooth sailing. I won't have to, it won't be uphill anymore. It'll be down. It'll be coasting. It'll be easy peasy. That's what I thought. It still isn't. It's still not easy. Just today, I had to go in and do a little tap dance on a producer's session for
Did
a job
you really?
that they should have offered me on a network. That my agent's like, you want to work at this network? I'm like, listen, I got a daughter. I will do whatever it takes to get in the running. Whether we decide to do it or not, okay, but I'll get in there, because there was a time where my ego was, I'm not going to audition for that. I mean, come on, don't they know what I can do? I've been doing this for how many years? Why do I have to audition for that? Then I remember Meryl Streep auditioned for some stuff, Marlon Brando did a screen test for The Godfather.
Did he really?
They didn't want him.
Did he really?
He had to do it. He was
right. He's the one that did that to his cheeks. Yeah. He did that.
Yeah, he did. He's the genius of Marlon was that life informed his work, and that's why I tell actors who say, "What should I do?" I said, learn to love and love to learn. That it all informs your work. Everything.
Okay, so tell us about La Bamba. How did that happen?
Oh my gosh, La Bamba, I read this script, brought me to tears, and I saw my name on it. I'm like, oh my God.
Talk about another bad guy.
I've never seen
Moses. Well, but he has a nice resurrection.
Well, here's the thing. He wasn't bad for being bad. He was troubled. And again, people aren't bad. Their issues are. You know what I mean? Or the way they handle them.
You found the thing to love about him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's
his
the thing
humanity.
to love about yourself. I'm not perfect. And Lord, the people who know me go, you're not easy, Esai. It's like, really? I try. I really try. I go out of my way, so much so that I think it turns some people off if you're too nice, if you're too accommodating. They want a little of the badass. People
I think that's gone out of. I think Bad Boys have gone out of style.
Yeah.
They have for me.
No, well, you've grown up, okay? You know that bad boys have bad issues and problems. But when you're a young gal or young guy out there and you like the bad girl, you know, but when you don't have the experience in life, a bad boy or girl seems like a challenge. Seems like
I loved the Bad Boys.
I can fix that, or I can make that work in my favor. You know, that'll protect me. Because I wonder, why do young people go for the, you know, I mean, little boys, why do they like wrestling so much? I loved it when I was 10. Then I grew out of it, and I don't understand the thing. But I see adults, families, kids, moms, dads, like, what's the attraction? You know it's fake. What's the attraction? And it hit me. My theory.
Okay.
Is that these people are seeing, you know, like the same with the rich and famous, lifestyles of the rich and famous. Why are we obsessed with people, with billionaires? Oh, I have a lot of money. You know, people I know have a lot of money. They don't tell you, I got a lot of money. Okay? I was like, wait a minute. So it's because the public is obsessed with what they can't have, with what they don't have. And what do little boys not have? Power. What do women who want equal pay and they want power, financial and political, right? Even physical power. Look at the movies. When I saw Dark Angel with Jessica Alba that made her a star, I was upset because I can't stand seeing these things where women are fighting off 10 men. I'm going, why? Why is that your idea of a strong woman when women's strengths are beyond the physical? It's the women's strength is here. You know, it's the ethereal. Why put them down to our level? Why is this?
I don't know. I don't watch any of those movies. So.
It bothers me when I see people go, well, we don't have enough strong women. And I'm like going, oh my God, there were strong women all around. You don't know how to focus on them or honor them unless they beat you up, unless they hit you, unless they're as violent as men. We're trying men not to be violent. We're trying to get men to be less violent. How is women joining that kind of milieu? So I don't like groupthink. The minute everybody did roller skates, I was done with mine. You know, it's like, okay, it's a fad. I don't want to seem like I'm following a fad. And
okay, so let's get back to La Bamba. Tell me about La Bamba. How'd you get La Bamba? I'm getting you back on track now.
They wanted me to audition for Richie, and I wanted the part of Bob.
Really?
And I could have done Richie. I think I could have been a good Richie. I could have sung my songs too, you know. But but Bob had my name on it, and it was a combination of my own father and the real Bob. That's who I portrayed. A combination, the rage, the pain. This was a person who grew up without his father, who had a stepfather, and who felt not favored. So in the sense, I felt like, you know, the kid who society didn't favor because all these other looking people got the good guy parts, got the heroes. So I identified with my character on a variety of levels. I tanned every day. I let my facial hair grow.
Yeah, you totally changed your look for that. The mustache.
I lifted some weights. I got the attitude, and I learned the difference between Chicanos and other Latinos.
What's that? Well,
it's a whole other, you know, psyche. You know, this where we're sitting was Mexico. You know, I'm from New York. That wasn't Puerto Rico. So it's a difference when you're a child of immigrants and when you're here, part of a culture that predated the one that's predominant. And there's a second-class citizenship kind of feeling, even though your people were here first. You know what I mean? There's a certain kind of pride, and there's a lot more. I mean, I cannot begin to represent all the richness of the Mexican American culture, but I knew enough to respect it, and I knew the differences in the speaking patterns. You know, like New Yorkers have more Afro-Cuban, Jewish, Italian.
Okay, I just met a New Yorican, Felix Solis. Do you know Felix?
Oh, I love him.
Oh, me too. Wonderful. Oh God, he's going to be in the living room with Candy Clark at the end of the month. I loved him. His play.
But New York Puerto Ricans have this thing, kind of like what in Carlito's Way Al Pacino talks. How you doing? You know,
right.
What's up? And it's a New York thing that has influences of Jewish It has influences of black. What's up? How you doing, papi? It has influence of Latino. It has influence of Italian. Hey, how you doing?
Right.
So, and the Irish, you know? Mm-hmm. All of that is New Yorican. That's like when J-Lo talks, or, you know, certain people, they have a certain, you know, there's a certain thing. Mm-hmm. It's very New York. Mm-hmm. Chicanos in East LA, that's different. Because it's a different type of Spanish that is spoken. Mm. So it's a different clip. What's up, Holmes?
Wow, I'm hearing it.
Pues, it's Chicanismo, way. And it's a whole different thing.
Wow.
You know, I'm from San Pedro, Holmes. Mm. Don't even, you know. There's a great joke. This is, what do you call an Irish girl with one leg shorter than the other?
What?
Eileen.
Ah! Pete!
Yeah.
And then this is terrible. Forgive me. What do you call a Japanese girl with one leg shorter than the other?
What?
Irene.
Ooh.
There. Now, what do you call a Chicana with one leg shorter than the other?
What?
Not even.
That's my favorite. You had to get to it to get
No,
to
but
that.
I'm saying I remember watching my fellow Puerto Rican actors doing guest shots as Chicano gangbangers. I'm like, dude, you sound like you're from New York. Come on, man. You can't just roll in there with your stuff without doing the homework.
Wow.
I mean, look at Anthony Quinn. Irish Mexican. Anthony Quinn. Beloved by the Greek community.
Well, I mean, Zorba the Greek is...
Love it. Zorba.
Yeah.
I mean, but why? Because he took their... He brought pride and nobility to their character. Mm-hmm. He did not caricaturize them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think in La Bamba, even though it got close to it with the histrionics and the emotions, it came from a real place, you know. $500 in prizes. You know, there's a Chicano pride there. And I've heard it. I felt it. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I'm honored to be a part of that community.
And I assume that one changed your life.
It helped. But you know, the funny thing about changing the life doesn't change as quickly as you think.
Everything is temporary too, right?
Yeah, and it changes for a bit and then it goes back to the usual. Mm-hmm. You know, the Latino wave. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about waves is they come and they go. Mm-hmm. You know, they ebb, they flow. Mm-hmm. And we still have a lot of work to do to kind of like, you know, people talk about diversity, and diversity has become like a bad word. Mm-hmm. But I'd rather call it trueversity, because it's about being true to, you know, because I hate seeing all this cast or all that. Like if it's like, you know,
right, we're
going to do an all Latino version of, I'm like, come on. Or I hate seeing, well, here's the token black person. Oh, and let's put an Indian guy there and an Asian and then a Latino. And it's like, okay, everybody happy now? Okay, go away. Mm-hmm. If it's not organic, it doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. Now, what felt right was things like, even though I didn't see it, Fast and the Furious. That was a multicultural thing, but it didn't feel like they were put there because of that.
Okay, so here's
look at that hit.
I saw Jason Butler Harner, your co-star on Ozark, on Broadway recently in Bernhardt Hamlet. His wife, now that's taking place a long time ago. His wife, they cast a black woman, an African American woman, and
you can do that in theater though. In New York,
by the way,
always been able to
Jason
do that in
was beyond brilliant. He was so great in it. But I have to say, I saw the first preview. I could not get past that did not work for me. In that time, in that place, that never would have happened. And I could not forget it.
And it's weird because it feels imposed.
It was imposed.
But
we're going to be politically correct and we're going to do this.
Yeah, which is why a lot of right-wingers can't stand when we lefties get hypercritical of every little thing. Mm-hmm. You know, when somebody talks about, oh, that's a microaggression, I'm like, are you kidding me? Microaggression, by definition. What is the definition of micro? Something so small, it's almost insignificant.
Right.
It's petty by definition. It's like, really, microaggressions? Now, it's another thing if you're saying passive-aggressive, but a microaggression means you're parsing hairs. You're splitting, like, you're looking for something to complain. And I think that we're at a point now where we've, you know, toxified masculinity so much that all masculinity is toxic almost. And I think that's unfortunate. I think
I
that
agree with you.
Young men, especially young boys, need to know what is okay. You know, when is okay to be strong? You know, when is it okay to, you know,
to be soft,
to be a man, and what is being a man? And, you know, a lot of times we're imprisoned by our own societal, you know,
boundaries.
And when a lot of people ask you, but tell me how you really feel. No, I want you to open up. Tell me your feelings. And then when you start doing it, they're like, alrighty. I mean, yeah, God, you don't shut up.
It's massively invasive.
I just saw Ty Babylonia. Is there anything with Ty Babylonia? Do you know Ty?
Are you kidding me? The ice skater?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Ty is a friend. I adore her.
I've been a fan. I mean, I was just. Oh, there you are.
She's there. Liberty DeVito, drummer Billy Joel, all those years,
God,
all those iconic Liberty's friend.
Oh my God, you know everybody.
Yeah, we have.
So God, you guys are famous. Can I get your autographs?
Please. So all right, so let's get to Ozark because
I have questions too.
Oh, good. Okay, go ahead.
Whatever you want to fit in.
Go.
John O'Donnell, he wants to know your opinion of reality television and has social media helped your career?
Oh my God. Social media has hurt my career.
What? How?
I have a theory. I can't prove this, but when I started doing Facebook, I was doing it to practice my writing because I'm not a natural writer. I rip up everything but if I'm communicating with people, I like to put my ideas on, especially arguing politics or science or whatever, or defending people or whatever. And then I noticed my numbers were growing and it's okay. But I noticed that I don't use social media to promote myself. I should. I know. I'm just bad celebrity. I promote things I think are important that we should all think about. Causes, or just knowledge that is suppressed because the media is filtered. This country is the most brainwashed country in the world, with the exception of North Korea. Although they know they're being brainwashed to some extent, we don't. That's the difference. Everything's filtered, so we're controlled. So I put stuff that you don't get every day. So my stance is on vaccines, my stance is on Monsanto, GMOs, health, politics. I put that out, but I noticed that after certain issues, being GMOs and vaccines, my reach got cut.
Oh.
A few years ago, I went to Thailand to make a little movie. Okay, not exactly top of the food chain type of movie, but and I was posting there, especially on my days off and in between scenes, a lot. My reach went from the low millions to 17.5 million.
Wow.
My reach.
Wow.
I come back to the United States and overnight.
Wait, what?
Done.
Why?
Look what I posted about. We have in this nation certain sets of people that are so powerful that they can stop fires before it burns down their lucrative businesses. And if they flood the market with enough disinformation, people forget the truth that came out. And so my likes have plateaued for years now at 250,000, 253. That's it. And they don't move up. And I hired somebody at one point, but at that point, it just went like this. And then anything I get from certain people, if I post, one reach, two.
Yeah, but that's
the algorithms.
But that's the algorithm being affected, which happens to me all the time. Like right now, I'm watching how many people have been on here at certain times, and I'm telling you, I know from watching the numbers, just glancing, that there were at least 1,000 people live with us. And I'm telling you, when I turn this off, it's going to say 250. Because every month, no matter how, they just fuck with the numbers.
It says zero reach on some, and then there's 40 comments.
Yeah, exactly.
But
how many comments do we have here? I mean, forget about it.
But what I know is that I have more people that know who I am and like my work than our big Facebook or Twitter or, especially the older crowd.
Right.
So I can't get jobs. I can't compete against somebody else who was on a certain show that I know and I like. This person's really cool, but he's got 2-3 million people. Oh, I got 250,000. Guess who they're going to hire? That person.
And that's the crazy part, is that the casting directors are looking at this stuff, right?
Not just the casting directors. I'm talking about Shonda Rhimes level.
Oh, is that so?
I'm saying they see that, and it's like, boom.
Wow.
You can't blame them to some extent because you're like, whoa,
It's drawing a lot of attention to the show.
Yeah,
sure. It's helping their numbers, of course.
They have a lot of pressure to get numbers. So I get it. But what a friend of mine who was talking to somebody who was talking to her, or somebody who works with her, hey man, why did you go with this guy? And And they go, well, this person has 2 million Twitter followers.
I'm sorry, that's just so
I
sad.
never buy mine anyway. I don't boost posts or anything like that. That's another reason they don't like me. I don't pay.
Right.
I'm like, excuse me, you make money off of me and my content and my fans, and you want me to pay you on top of that? No, thank you. In any case, and I don't buy. There's people that buy followers.
Right.
Half of Justin Bieber's followers for a while were numbers. So
they blur out my show, and I know it's on purpose. They blur out the show because I don't buy Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know they just fuck with the video.
Yeah, I don't appreciate that. It's like if it's a real platform, then let it be. And so
I just said that on Facebook.
So a friend of mine says,
"What's next week?"
Another friend of mine says, "Well, listen, you know what? You know how many followers like Madonna or such and such, this other person have? They got 50 million or 25 million, but their last records didn't do that well. So you can't."
So they're basing it just on. It doesn't even matter what your career is. It's all about what's going on social media.
Partially. I mean, your career. It doesn't matter what your career has been, because if your career is hot, it's hot. You're doing good stuff. But Ozark has done more for me, and as far as getting me love from people, than anything since La Bamba.
Oh wow. Okay, so let's talk about Ozark. So, wow, what a storyline that was.
Amazing.
So now, was that something that you were handed? How did that happen? How'd you get the part in Ozark?
You have enough time. Okay. Jason Bateman, I knew growing up, kind of like.
Really?
Yeah, before he was very famous, he was, he'd done some stuff, but he lived on the West Side. My friends and I, we used to kind of party together.
Wow.
But we weren't like tight friends, but I respected him. He respected me. He got married to a gal that I knew, wonderful gal, Amanda Enka, Paul's daughter.
Oh, nice.
Amazing couple. And, I knew her before she knew him, that kind of thing. I felt like, well, and then when I saw them again, through the years, I was like, hey, yeah, hi. Years and years go by, I hear this show called Ozark. Now, my agents will deny this. One of them, they don't know who it was that told me this, but I remember being told I was too old for the part. Yeah. Because I'm up there. So
I'm not sure what that means when it's a drug pin. I mean, like, whatever.
They saw somebody maybe 10 years younger, whatever, And I'm like, but no, but what do you mean too old? I mean, if I shave, I could darken the hair. I mean, like, I can play younger. And they go, yeah, I don't know if it's going to work. I said, listen, you know what? Let them know that I'm old friends with Jason and that I'd like to, give it a shot. They go, okay, but you'll have to put yourself on tape. Okay, I'll put myself on tape. So I have on this very phone about 20 or 30 auditions of the Ozark character that I did on my own phone with a friend late at night. Then I was like, I don't know, it's too... I did it again with my assistant and her daughter and son. And I, 20 other takes of that stuff. And then something I said to myself, I can't take a chance with this. I want to really, really hone this thing. So I went and hired a guy who had a studio with cameras, tiny little place. And that's the studio, and you do, professional quality audition tape.
Right.
They know I took it seriously. And I kind of messed with the lighting. I put the light. If I have two lights from behind me, I get very ugly, very menacing. Thank you for the kind comments, but homie can get ugly. Okay. And
I ain't never seen it. So.
Yeah, trust me. Okay. So I put the lights so that
I know you can get menacing. That menacing. I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so menacing.
Yes.
There you go. Put the light behind me for the second scene. So the two scenes I had were the first scene where he runs into him, the first entrance, and then the scene right before he's about to kill Bruce, where he goes, "How did you do it?" And so I did that and spent a good afternoon doing that. And I mean, wow! I even used a real gun.
Wow!
I went all out. I wanted them to know I took it seriously. Then I gave it. And 3 times they were asking for the tapes, and I was late. Finally gave them the tape. Finally heard back. They like what you did. You're in the running. Then I hear, okay, you're gonna get the offer. I'm like, oh, you're gonna get the offer, great. Then I, get the offer. Then I'm like, okay, now we have to work on this. They go, well, it's a recurring character. It's not like a regular. I'm like, it's not just a recurring character. It is a linchpin character.
Hell yeah. It's the one that everybody remembers and talks about.
But it's without that character, there is no show. You know, it's not like, oh yeah, he just came in and did something. It's not an interchangeable character. Right. He is germane to the storyline.
Absolutely.
So I fought and doubled that and still didn't get my rate, whatever that is. But they were like, thank your union. I'm like, oh, damn it. So, any case, I get the call from Jason. I think I was playing golf at the time.
Had you not spoken to him directly to this point? Okay.
No. Because one of the things you don't want to do is go, hey, buddy, hey, I hear you're casting the part. Hey, I'm not that guy. I have too much pride to, say, hey, put me in your movie. No, I want to audition like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And if you get it, then I'll go. Mm-hmm. So, to make a long story just that much shorter, he tells me, yeah, listen, yeah, it was great. Thanks, welcome aboard. They were wonderful. I go, really? I go, yeah. I said, your audition was incredible. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. And even the lighting.
Oh, he noticed.
I felt like a girl when you say, did you cut your hair? You noticed. Oh, I was totally like,
so great.
Dude, yes. He goes, no. I said, so it was good. He goes, it was head and shoulders above the rest. I'm like, I won't forget that, head and shoulders. So, Jason's younger than me, but, he's a beast. I mean, he directed the first 2 and the last 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. He set the whole tone for that thing.
He's amazing.
He executive produced. I mean, once he got his break, he never looked back. The show that he did that put him on the map big time. He never looked back, and he's been working hard ever since. And I have a lot of admiration for him.
As do I.
His work ethic is insane. And
I just want to say to everybody out there, though, that is watching, that a lot of people watch this show because it is the road take and how you did what you did. And what you just described, what you were willing to go through to get what you wanted. Here you are.
30-year career.
You've had this whole career. You've worked to you there might have been lulls, but it's hard to find them. You've worked very steadily. You're very respected. And you did all that it wasn't enough to put it on your phone. You had to go to the studio. You're thinking of the lighting. You're doing all of that stuff. Preparation, because what is a lock? It's preparation, all those things, right?
Preparation meets opportunity.
Right, preparation meets opportunity. And that's inspiring to know that you're humble enough to do whatever it takes to get what you want.
Well, thank you, but I can't take all the credit. This town does humble you. This business will humble you if you let it. But I think there's a good way to be humbled, and there's a bad way to be humbled. The bad way to be humbled is
to be forced.
But also just to be humbled, I can't do this. No, I'm not. No. Then there's the way to be humbled that says, you know what? It's not all about you, but there's something about you that is special, and you need to honor that. And you need to bring it.
I love it. Well, I just looked. We've been talking for over 2 hours, and is there something, Pete?
Question.
Go ahead. One more question. Last question.
John Myers. If money was no object,
yep,
and training were no object, what would you do besides acting? Good question.
Hi, John.
Hi, John. That's a good one, man. There's so many things. I love so many things. I used to want to be a marine biologist. I wanted to dive. I wanted to be a stunt man. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a lawyer. At one point, president. Mm-hmm. Not anymore.
You got to play one on TV.
There you go. That was an acme. Maybe a therapist. I just, what really thrills me? Oh, a massage therapist. I give people massages all the time without them asking. It's just, I'm a very tactile person.
You are. I've noticed during this whole thing.
I just feel people's tension and I want to dissolve it. So I think I would be in the healing arts. Ultimately, I think my hands that I adopted, that I inherited from my father, have a healing capacity.
Nice.
And there's something to laying your hands on people. Legally, of course.
Jeffrey Guerlain, I was just talking to someone who did that as a child and has done it all his life. He's healed people with his hands.
There's just some, I just feel, when you, it's all about love at the end of the day. When you love your fellow human beings as you would yourself, when you realize that you're somebody's child, you're somebody that somebody fed, that somebody bore, that somebody changed, that somebody did so much for, you don't take that for granted.
Although I find it easier to love others than I find to love myself.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's a natural urge because who are you with more? You know what I mean? Familiarity breeds contempt.
Yes.
So, but I'll tell you one thing. There were times where I get really down on myself, and when I used to smoke certain herbals, I got to a point where I would just I couldn't do it anymore. I had to stop because all I could think about was everything wrong I'd ever done, everything bad, every dream that I didn't do, all these promises that I couldn't keep, and I was just like, talk about half empty. It was just, and I realized that when you know yourself, you can be brutal, and you got to be easy. You got to love yourself. You have to be kind to yourself.
I would never speak to anyone the way I speak to myself.
Isn't it horrible?
Never.
But that's your parents telling you not to be rude to others, but forgetting that you're someone too that you should be at least loving with. Be loving with yourself. We've hurt ourselves so many times. Thanks for answering, Esai, and hi back to you. Hey, Vicki. Yeah, I teach State University, and I'll be showing my students your inspiring. Oh, thank you. You know what I might also be doing? I might be an acting teacher because I love
that
acting.
You'd be wonderful at it.
I'd like to. I'm considering a movie to direct right now. So,
nice. Have you done anything like that?
Very short form. I did a PSA against smoking with my mother. You know that like a autobiographical thing when I was a kid for the CDC, which I'm kind of like have issues with now for other issues. And I did a 10-minute segment of America's Most Wanted.
Ooh, my.
Yeah, where I was in too, and I directed, and the people that are like, you got to direct more often, But, when you're working and when you're making a living at one thing, it's hard to just shift over there unless you've got oodles of standby cash. And I've never been that kind of actor. I had a few good years, but the 2008, 2010 whole thing, that really just, I almost went completely bankrupt.
Oh my!
Yeah, I lost over nearly $2 million.
Oh jeez!
And I had borrowed to invest in the Dominican Republic in a project fronted by our president Donald Trump at the time. But I don't blame him because the economy turned. This was in May 2007. I did the biggest investment leap I could. I said I'm going to bet on myself. And the
wrong time to do it.
Oh my God. I'm still recovering from that. So you have to understand when someone like me invests or $1 million, right? It represents 3 in earnings. Because for you to have that money,
right,
you will have to make it, and to make it, you have to pay commissions, you have to pay lawyers, you have to pay publicists, you have to buy things, you have to live off of things, you have a family. It's like to have that much aside represents so much more. That it's. So I am. I deal with issues to this day, wondering how much of my daughter's future do I invest in my mother's past.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm the sole earner, because her mom that's her job, and rightfully so. I mean,
I did it with my kids.
It's just. There's no other way to guarantee that they will be as protected as they
And I believe that's why my kids are the kids. People. That's right. They had a full-time mom.
That's right. So, I mean,
luxury.
You could be a single parent child and still learn, but it is much harder, and you do go through a lot. So, what else did you want to talk about?
Okay, so Pete, is there anything else before we wrap?
Lisa wants to know if I can give her a massage.
Come on down. You can give it to me, and I'll tell you about it. It really feels good.
Someone asked, God. Have you written a screenplay that Pete George will be in?
Oh my God. I love that. Oh my God. had a friend named Peter DeGeorge. You know, I have a love-hate relationship with writing. I love good writing. I hate attempting it because I find it's the way people feel about me and acting. Like they tell me I couldn't do what you do.
Yeah.
What you do, I wouldn't know how to. Screenplay writing is just such a puzzle, and it's so easy to like be predictable or boring or unnecessary or disjointed. It's so easy to mess up. That my hat's off to any and every writer that puts out decent work that we can live off of. I would like to. I would probably co-write something with somebody who understood structure and dramaturgy more than I do. I'm an instinctive person. To me, I know if it sounds right. I resonate with life. I listen, and if something sounds like life, when you just sit there and you people watch that sound, it's inimitable. It's just it's the flow of life. And that to me is what my job as an actor is to recreate that frequency. That you forget you're watching someone else, and you start identifying, and you start fitting into one or more of those characters.
My son is watching. Hi, Harry.
Hi, Harry.
Would you say hi to Harry, please?
Hello, Harry.
I'm going to have you say, Esai, I did it again.
It's okay.
I'll never say it the same way twice.
Okay, Brittany.
Oops. I'm gonna Vicki. I'm gonna make him do a video for you. For you to put on Facebook. I'm gonna make you do that because he loves you, Laurel's
Harry?
dad.
Really?
Yes, he
Thank
does.
You, Harry.
Laurel's dad.
I'm honored. Anytime there's someone who's not Latino who looks up to me, I'm like, wow. It's like icing on a cake.
There are many people who are not Latino.
Oh,
Question?
Yes.
Are you friends with Clancy Brown?
Oh, yes. Clancy Brown is an amazing person. Wonderful actor. Was on the board with us for many years. He's just, he's a special cat. Yeah. As big as he is, his heart is and his talent is like that. So
I worked on Shawshank, so
you worked on Shawshank.
He was naked in the shower with Tim Robbins.
My first film.
Tim is like 6'5", dude.
Yeah. First film, glamorized extra. I ended up working on it 14 hours a day for 6 weeks.
Oh, you
30 scenes. It was crazy.
And he's going back to do
the 25th anniversary. I was asked to go back as like a freaking extra and do a Q&A. Like,
you know what? We don't call them extras anymore. Right? They're background actors. I started doing background work.
Did you?
I was on the White Shadow.
The White Shadow.
Ken Howard, who I ran against for president in 2013. Irony of ironies.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I literally could sit here all night long, and who couldn't?
Next movie, someone asked.
Next movie,
Matilda. Well, I've got this little. It's funny because I started doing
Matilda
TV.
said, "Say hi to her." First, say hi.
Hello, Matilda.
Okay, go ahead.
Villafan. I think it was Villafan. Yeah. One of my friends, Ana Villafane, who's amazing. She played in On Your Feet. She played Gloria Estefan. Amazing actress. You're going to see more of her.
Mm-hmm. So next movie,
I did this little thing called The Wall of Mexico, where I play a 70-year-old who looks 20 years younger because they have a well that they believe is like the fountain of youth.
Wow.
And people start stealing it so we have to build a wall around our property, which they call Mexico. And because we're a very wealthy family in that community. And I have to build a wall to keep these people out. So the irony of ironies, it's not Trump's wall, it's another wall. Because these people feel like, hey, why are we charging so much for the water? I'm a capitalist. Hey, this is the supply and demand. This is what we... But it's really cool because it's a different kind of movie. It's just been accepted and opening night at South by Southwest. So I'm slowly getting back into features. I played another cartel guy in Superfly.
Oh yeah, Superfly.
Let me tell you something. It is hard to play cartel guys and make them different. Especially when they're both Mexican. And they're both, powerful and both.
So what did you do to make him different?
Well, I played with his temperament, his tone. I mean, next time, if we have a next time,
we're gonna have a next time.
I'll tell you about my godsend preparation for Ozark. Which after I got the part, I was like, oh, now what? It's not like you can go to cartel school. Can I, excuse me, cartel guys, don't mind me, I'm not a cop, but I'd like to watch what you do. Just to, get, you want me to represent you more honestly, right? Anyway, didn't have that opportunity, but I had somebody come to my house to do some technical work for an AT&T type of company, to work on my. I didn't want Wi-Fi. I wanted, landlines so that I wouldn't have Wi-Fi poisoning.
Oh.
Well, he told me that's not the thing that they thought they were doing, and okay.
Yeah.
So where are you from? He goes, where are you from? Chapin? Because he looked Guatemalan, because Guatemalans have a certain kind of look. He goes, no. I'm like, oh, where? He goes, Mexico. I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
No. And he's walking out of my door. He goes, I go, where from in Mexico? He goes, Sinaloa. I'm like, what? Sinaloa? Whoa. Sinaloa is like the birthplace of the cartels.
Is that so?
Oh my God. Sinaloa is deep. You're deep.
How were you not on Narcos? Chris Brancato is a very good friend of mine. I'm going to have to talk to Chris. How could you not be on Narcos?
They've had their chance.
You've got to be on Narcos.
Maybe it's too obvious. I don't know. I think it's a great show. I have to work on my Colombiano accent or something. Or maybe I can play an American. The thing is, I don't always have to be the bad guy.
You don't always have to be the bad guy.
So guess what?
What?
The guy tells me he's from Sinaloa, and his last name is his second last name is one of the most famous cartel last names. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you part of that family? He goes, indirectly, but yeah. And I'm like, since you're not going to do this job here, do you mind staying here a little while? I kept him in my house for about an hour. And
really?
Grilled him. And he told me things that were fascinating. And the matter-of-factness with which he told me about the whole birth of the business. They used to grow corn and beans over there till a certain government agency from another country very nearby got them into growing poppies for the war in Vietnam because our soldiers needed heroin to work because it was so harrowing.
Wow.
The Viet Cong were not messing around. And they came, they gave their lives. They were fierce fighters. And city boys and other cats, they needed to be on something, or else they just couldn't deal. And he told me the railway line that this American guy developed for fruits and vegetables, and United Fruit used to use. They would end up in Midland, Texas. And he was telling me all this stuff. He was telling me a phrase, because I would ask him. The phrase was "Por aquí no se anda chueco," which means around here you don't walk crooked. And because I asked him, I said, so
what does that mean?
So I said, so what does it take to get you killed down there? 500, 5,000, dollars. And he goes, 500, 5,000, whatever. He goes, if you're a thief, you're a thief. They don't play. You're done. You don't walk crooked. You walk straight.
Oh, I see.
You do not cheat. You do not lie. You don't steal. And I saw it as a way for them to kind of clean their gene pool because their lives depend upon this stuff. And and when you asked me earlier about how could I love my character, well,
yeah. How do you love the Ozark guy?
Easily. You realize that there's a market. They did not create this market. Okay. They supply a product that if they didn't supply, somebody else would, and somebody else would become very powerful doing so. At which point then you become at their mercy. So he's a businessman. He's a second in control. He's a person who understands the rules. There are rules to this. Okay? They don't go around making people who have nothing to do with drugs drug addicts. That's truly evil. But if there's a market and these people are going to be involved in this anyway, they're going to be the best at doing what they have to do. And what he sees, what he does, he knows. Because I said, so when they kill you, what about, he goes, sometimes they kill the whole family, everybody. I go, why? He goes, no one will live to seek revenge. And the parrot too, no one will talk. I'm like, whoa. But the way he was telling me, his demeanor, because he and his father were business people. They were not in that business, but they saw it grow around them. So they have no ability but to respect it. It's like Miami. Miami is, the town that cocaine built. Let's face it. They were smart enough to invest in their city, as opposed to just, fast cars and women, or whatever. So, our whole country, the Queen of England. Let's not get it twisted. When you realize the true history of the drug trade in this world, the French connection, you realize it's not just black and brown people doing this. That's mid-level. The real top goes all the way to any top of any pyramid because they're not going to see cartels become rich and powerful without them being part of it. So I think if you're the top cop, you're immune. Who's going to bust you? And good luck, you know. So I saw this guy as a pragmatic businessman who has a family to protect. And if he brings in Marty Bird and his buddy Bruce, who he did not want, but testament to Marty's loyalty, he insisted, okay. He knew the rules. You saw the flashback. You saw what happened to the last guy that was stealing from him. They knew it very carefully. If that guy still went ahead and stole $5 to $8 million from my bosses who have given them employment, who have guaranteed that their children's children will not want, their colleges are 2 or 3 generations down, and you're going to steal from your employers, then my job is to clean up the mess that I created for my bosses.
Wow.
Because he told me, he says, if you bring someone in and they mess up,
it's on you.
You have to take him out. And if you don't, they take you out. Okay, so before my character would allow his children to even be looked at, goodbye.
Wow. And it's that commitment that made it so chilling.
Yeah, there was no bones about it. The only thing he felt bad about is that he liked Marty. Marty had dignity. See, the thing about Del that people may have picked up or not is he didn't like cheaters. He didn't like that guy. He said he cheats on his wife, he'll cheat in business too. He felt that character flaws go through all. So this man, I loved him because he was an intelligent man. He wasn't doing what he did out of making life easy. He knew he was building a future for his family, and that he was not converting people who would not otherwise be doing what they're doing.
I love that. I love that you found that. I love that you know that. I love that you can explain it to me and share it with us. It's very inspiring.
So are you, Vicki?
So I've got a promise from this man that he's going to come back to the living room with Mitch Weissman and sing for us and do some talking.
Oh, we gonna jam.
You gonna jam?
Oh, we gonna jam.
We're gonna jam. I've got that promise. Esai, I can't.
Oh, thank you.
It's
been a long time. I apologize. I was like, I didn't feel like I had anything to promote per se, but you know what? Life, love, and happiness.
Thank you so much for doing this. And Pete, thank you so much for being out there. And thank you all for sticking with us. I love this so much.
People.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week with Burt Young. See you then.